Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah,
and then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, so it was officially 25 of 51 three-pointers that the Crimson Tide made yesterday in their 113-88 win over BYU in the East Region semifinal. But still a banger. And Mark Sears, you absolute animal. I was saying before the tournament, if I had a team to pick, it would probably be the Crimson Tide. Because I had them actually my only Final Four team. And not that remaining, I should say. And not that I care, not that people care that much about my Final Four, but I've always had an affinity for Mark Sears from that 1 year that he spent in Athens. And games like last night, the four that you got, three really competitive, one not so much. We'll get to Maryland and the future of the Terrapins coming up later in the program. But without Cinderella, you get the Blue Bloods playing games like this. And it sets up for right now, two of the first four Elite Eight games factored to be bangers. Eric Reeser, Ryan Baker, Cole's behind the board, hopefully putting together a banger for you for these next 3 hours. We'll get Mike Petraglia on at 9:30. He was held up by Terry Francona yesterday, which is understandable. So we'll get his thoughts on the Reds opening day and if the Bengals can get Trey Hendrickson done before the month of May. We'll have Tim May on at 10:30. Buckeyes coming off a pro day. They've got two practices, one today or one yesterday. I believe one yesterday was a Thursday, and then tomorrow.
Yeah, off day for the Buckeyes today.
And then they'll go Student Appreciation Day next Saturday, and then the Jackets, who didn't play last night, but got some help as the Flyers beat Montreal 6-4. Great job, Bradshaw. We'll get Jody Shelley on at 11:30.
Reese, as great as the basketball was last night, and we will get into all of that, I have never been more proud to be a part of this show than I am today, because it's a Jackets game day, a very important Jackets game day. Of course, I'm wearing a Jackets shirt like I do most Jackets game day. I see you walk in with your Jackets sweater on, and then I see Cole walk in with a Blue Jackets hoodie as well. Never been more proud to be a part of a show than I am today, as everyone is behind the Jackets here with a big back-to-back this weekend. And the way things have gone this week, Reese, it's technically not a must-win for the Jackets tonight. It probably is, but I don't know if I've ever seen a team have a better four-day stretch and they didn't play a game than the Jackets this week.
No, everything's set up really well for the Blue Jackets to collect some points and move up into that second wild card spot by the end of this weekend. And to your point about all of us wearing Blue Jacket stuff, I kind of just throw on whatever in the morning, as was made obvious earlier this week when I said nobody wears Under Armour, despite having an Under Armour sweatshirt on. But you root for the home team. Isn't that what they say? And so a huge game, a huge opportunity for the Blue Jackets. You're right, not must wins, but must get points in games this weekend. Again, Friday, tonight, of the Vancouver Canucks in town for a 7 o'clock face-off. Fan pregame will start 6:30 for that one, and then the Jackets are heading to Ottawa to take on the Senators tomorrow.
And, Reese, the nice thing about this weekend, too, not only do the Jackets have back-to-back, they have a chance to put 4 points in the bank here. Yep. But the teams around you, for the most part, have a tough schedule this weekend. Tonight, Montreal, who you're chasing, is at Carolina. Now, the Rangers are the anomaly here in this because they have two pretty easy games. Tonight, they're at Anaheim. Tomorrow, the Islanders at Tampa. Boston at Detroit, the Rangers at San Jose. So the Rangers have two pretty easy ones, so you've got to keep pace with them. Then Sunday, Montreal is at Florida, and the Islanders are at Carolina. So if you are a Jackets fan, you are a huge Florida, Carolina, and Tampa fan this weekend.
I do think because the Jackets are playing, you want to focus all of your attention on the team in Columbus, because I think right now for this team, and I would hope the case isn't they're looking at the standings around them. They're more so focused on the task against Vancouver and then on heading to Ottawa to play the Senators. I don't think you're going to catch Ottawa for that first wild card spot, but the games in front of you need to start collecting points. So from this weekend trip, 2 points is a must. You'd love for 3. 4 would you come back on Monday, you're on cloud 9. But the opportunity is there. So can this team, now that they're getting healthier, I think you're getting Cole Sillinger back in the lineup tonight, can they make the most of this opportunity and not let it slide and not let it slip away where you're going into April thinking, well, that was a great season. You can say this is going to continue to be a great season.
And maybe the Jackets can be inspired, Reese, by the offense we saw on the hardwood last night.
Yeah, I wonder how many of them actually watch a lot of these games the night before they have a contest on the ice. I mean, I understand you're trying to get primetime windows. You try and take the most of them, or you're trying to take the most advantage of said primetime windows. But I've got 2 games in the West that are, one's tipping kind of early, just the late, way too late on a Thursday night. If you're going to do West, I think Midwest regions tonight, South regional semifinals are tonight as well. Like, those should tip earlier in the day on a Thursday. You can get away with it on a Friday. You can get away with it on a Saturday. But I don't think I can remember much of that Duke-Arizona game. Because it was, when you're on the couch, you're kind of, your eyes are starting to fade. You're wondering, like, no, I can stay up for this. And then you find yourself waking up in Texas Tech and Arkansas in our overtime. You're like, oh, missed that.
So at halftime last night of the Duke-Arizona game, that's when I made my trek upstairs to the bedroom and threw it on the bedroom TV. So I don't know how much.
TV in a bedroom guy.
I don't know how much of that second half of the Arizona Duke game I saw. I do know that I woke up and realized it was over because our friends at 10 TV, they were on their newscast that was obviously later. So sorry, Dom. Sorry, Nicole. Sorry, Adam. I flipped the channel over to TBS to put the Texas Tech Arkansas game on, and I thought that one was over. I woke up this morning surprised to see Texas Tech had come back and won this thing in overtime.
Yeah, the ultimate jinx was done by the crew at Turner because the game was on TBS. That 18 minutes left to go in the second half. Arkansas was leading Texas Tech 44-33. And they had a graphic that said John Calipari 35-0 in his career in the NCAA tournament when leading by 6 or more points at the half. Well, then what happened?
Wah, wah.
Obviously, Texas Tech goes on and gets that last second layup, gets a 2-point win. Now the Red Raiders are on to the regional final in the West to take on Florida. That game will be tomorrow at 6:09. The regional final in the East, which I think could be the game of the tournament. And I don't know what the over-under is for Duke and Alabama. You might want to crush the over. Both teams scored 100-plus points in their regional semifinal wins. Duke gets a 193 win over Arizona. Alabama and Mark Sears, as you heard, 25 of 51 from the three-point line. They beat BYU 113-88. So it does set up with Cooper Flagg, especially, who, as I was looking over the games last night, had 30 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, and 3 blocks in that regional semifinal win over the Wildcats. And the question had been surrounding Cooper, well, was he going to risk it and go to Washington next year in the NBA or just come back for Duke for one more season? And I'm not sure after a tournament performance like this and then what he could continue to have in games against Alabama and then likely the Blue Devils onto the national championship game, or at least onto the Final Four and then maybe onto the national championship game. He doesn't strike while the iron is hottest.
Yeah, I see no way that Cooper Flagg returns to play college basketball next year. He's just so daggone good. Probably the number 1 pick in the draft for sure. It was just so fun watching those games last night. It's the reason we fell in love with March, right? And this March, we've talked about it. The madness hasn't really been there. with the upsets and the buzzer beaters to an extent, but I mean, watching that BYU-Alabama game last night and seeing what Alabama was doing, breaking a 35-year-old tournament record, which who could believe that 1990 is when a team had hit the most three-pointers in an NCAA tournament game, that Loyola Marymount game against Michigan, which is still the highest-scoring game in tournament history. Who would have thought that 35 years ago, with the evolution of basketball in the three-point shot, that 35 years ago that record would have been held? Well, it went down last night because Alabama, and it was interesting, I heard a quote from Nate Oates talking to Sears and Holloway before the game, and they were watching BYU, and they said BYU kept coming under all of the screens, and he said, I hope they do that because it will rain down on them from three. And boy, did they ever. Your guy, Mark Sears, was hot as could be. The former Bobcat really couldn't miss. It was just so fun watching those games last night. And that was, even though the Blue Bloods are winning, which is kind of what we want at the end, it was the epitome of March.
And you've got the final four games in the Elite Eight tonight, Michigan State and Ole Miss. In the South region, that'll start at 7:09. That'll be on Channel 10. And then at 7:39, Kentucky, Tennessee. It'll be a phenomenal game in the Midwest region. And then Michigan at Auburn at 9:30. That'll also be on Channel 10. And then the nightcap at 10 o'clock, Purdue taking on the top-seeded Houston Cougars out of the Midwest. So you had phenomenal basketball last night. I think you'll have phenomenal basketball tonight. And then I think it'll be great into the weekend. Some phenomenal news for the basketball Buckeyes yesterday as John Mobley Jr. committed to Team 127. I don't think there was too much fear that he was going to go anywhere because after the first couple of days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday go by, and you haven't heard his name enter the transfer portal, you're feeling pretty good. And similarly with Devin Royal over the weekend as Dalen Swain enters the transfer portal, and he's actually on his Instagram recruiting Swain to come to Columbus. You're feeling pretty good about your two stalwarts that I said needed to have back. Still kind of waiting on Bruce because you haven't heard anything official there yet, although you don't expect Thornton to enter his name into the transfer portal. You expect him back in Columbus next season.
Isn't it so sad where we have gotten that we have to wait for someone to announce they're coming back? Like,
just where we are.
It's so dumb, though. Like, why does Mobley have to do that? Just be here. Like, we expect these guys to leave now because it's just the world we're in. It's just so ridiculous that John Mobley Jr. has to even worry about that. He should be worrying about getting better for next year and enjoying watching the NCAA tournament and having that fuel him to want to get there and play in it next year himself. It just made me cringe when I saw that yesterday, and I understand that I'm old and I'm old school, but it's gross to me.
Well, I also wonder with that, you're telling sponsors and potential NIL partners, hey, I'll be here if you want to discuss NIL opportunities for 2025. You talk about things that are dumb. Major League Baseball, you had one job. We'll discuss that next. Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on Unlimited Welcome for $45 per month with AutoPay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Columbus Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on Unlimited Welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Common Man here. I take my job as endorser for Germain Lexus very seriously. I want to make sure that every Lexus on the lot meets my expectations. That's why I personally sit in each one. I massage the leather. Sometimes I take a nap in the back seat. If that's not a selling point, I don't know what is. Deal time. Lease the 2025 ES350 for as low as $409 per month or get 3.49% financing up to 60 months on their most popular new Lexus models. 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton. Check them out online, GermainLexus.com.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Aaron?
Yeah, Jerry?
Something is wrong.
Something's wrong?
Yeah, it's definitely something.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Thumping and bumping and jumping.
What is?
But it's not pumping.
Get Eco.
ECO. Jerry?
Yeah, Aaron.
Are we talking about your sump pump?
Yeah. Isn't it great?
Isn't what great?
I like the sound of it. Sump pump. Sump pump, sump pump, sump pump.
Get Eco.
ECO. Jerry, can you keep a secret?
Aaron, I'm as silent as a bank vault in Switzerland.
I kind of like to say it too.
Hey, I should invent a sump pump that lets you know when it's working.
How would it do that?
It would say, sump pump, sump pump, sump pump.
That's a great idea, Jerry, but a sump pump should be exactly like you.
How so?
As silent as a bank vault in Switzerland.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter, and spring is here, and it's time to refresh your yard with Ohio Mulch. With 15 convenient locations in Central Ohio, it's easier than ever to get mulch ready for the season. Now through April 5th, get 5 bags of red, black, or brown mulch for just $10.95. Need it delivered? No problem. Save $50 on home delivery when you order online. Visit OhioMulch.com today and spruce up your yard with the best.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, cleaner, greener, better.
Breaking news. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply.
Oh, hey, a fan show where you can be the star. Sundays at 11, it's the new Fan Call-In Show presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Your calls, your tweets, your voicemails, your opinions. You can be a homer, a hater, or whatever you want to be. Your family may not listen to you, but we will. The Fan Call-In Show presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Sundays at 11 on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
And now, Public Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Damaro.
Ohio's public school educators were called to this profession by an unwavering commitment to the success of all of our students, no exceptions. We will not be deterred by manufactured attacks on our profession or our schools. We remain laser focused on addressing the real issues so we can provide the best education possible for our students.
Public Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Springtime is here, and you know what that means. It's time for Mulch Madness. Did you know that too much mulch is bad for trees and shrubs? 2 inches of mulch is plenty. Any more and you risk causing roots to grow up and around trunks, which increases unhealthy stress, shortens tree life, and even keeps moisture from getting down to tree roots. To find out more about Mulch Madness or to find a certified arborist near you, visit treesforohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We're looking at rain chances that will be increasing throughout the morning around central Ohio. Scattered showers, possibly some thunder activity expected through most of the day today. High temperatures will make their way into the 70s this afternoon. We dry out this evening into tonight. Temperature down to around 60. Mostly dry 70s on Saturday. Severe storms on Sunday. Stay weather aware. That's your latest 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Here's a quick 10-second reminder that the Buckeyes have won the Natty. Also, we are all the games, and we always will. Thank you. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. The final season of Yellowstone might just be Bo's dad live on YouTube. What's the difference anyway? This is Bishop and Friends.
You know, as we talked yesterday, Reeser Baker Cole rolling along, a Just Friends edition of the program. Opening day in baseball brought a lot of excitement. Felt like Christmas morning for baseball fans. You get America's pastime back in your lives, and even for the non-baseball fans, it felt like this is just one more step in the direction of actual spring weather. Now, I know the season's already changed, but in the next couple of days, it starts to actually feel like spring for 24 hours, for 48 hours, for a good 6 or 7 days. So we're going to get a ton of rain, but it's going to temperature-wise, 70 degrees. And so for everybody, it's a step forward in the right direction with how everybody feels. Because there's still that winter malaise that kind of hangs around when you get the false spring and then it just chills back down. with like a week of having to pull out the scraper and get the nonsense off of your car that you thought you were done with. Like that can put a person in a bad mood in an already worse mood. But with spring, with baseball, it can give you hope for what's to come. The flowers, the trees, everything blooms. You hoped, I had at least, when the announcement was made that the Guardians were not going to be on, it was then Bally Total Fitness Sports, now FanDuel Sports Network. I said phenomenal. That'll hopefully do away with blackouts. Maybe, Uncle Jeff Bezos gets involved with it. But then Major League Baseball said, no, we're going to take over production of the Cleveland Guardians, and we are going to distribute Guardians games on what we will now call Guardians.tv. But no more blackouts. And you pay a certain amount per month, or if you want to do a whole season, but they will be all available to you. And I thought, that's great. What a wonderful way for Major League Baseball to reward its fans, its diehard fans, by giving them games without blackouts, without any restrictions. And then I logged on to MLB.tv yesterday around 4 o'clock, and I got game subject to blackout with the Guardians and the Royals. And I said, that can't be right. So I clicked on it. I got data not found. And then I got a redirect screen. And then I went to Reddit, and it looked like everybody else who was a Guardians fan was dealing with the same issue. And then I went to the Major League Baseball Reddit, and it turns out everyone trying to access their team on MLB TV was met with the same issue. And then I read this on the Minnesota Twins Reddit page, that their new TV channel launched Thursday at 3:30 with a dramatic Bob Costas-voiced video about the Cleveland Guardians' new TV channel. And then I guess after a couple of minutes, someone realized what had happened and then switched over to the Bob Costas voice Minnesota Twins. You have but one opportunity, Major League Baseball, to get fans really engaged into your product. You always have the diehards, but the casuals, I mean, and it's opening day. And when you boggle it like that, it's very tough to get people to come back to your sport and come back and trust you when you can't get it right on the first day of the season.
It sure seems like Major League Baseball at every turn end up alienating fans somehow. I mean, this took me back to the opening day of free agency in the NFL, and Twitter goes down.
Oh, this is worse.
And it is. It's way worse, but you've got one job. One job.
Make sure your stuff works for opening day.
Make sure people can see your product. And listen, I joke a lot about yesterday as a Reds fan. It's all downhill from here. With
161
the hope is here, right? We're going to be, and then it's all downhill from here. But like literally yesterday, opening day, the biggest day of your sport. People haven't had it in 5 months since the World Series ended. And one day people want your product and you can't get it to them.
So in the YouTube chat, Chris chimes in, says, I just got an email from the Guardians for a free ticket to a game to make up for the missed opening day. And he quotes from the email, MLB would like to offer you 4 complimentary upper reserve tickets to one 2025 Guardians April or May regular season game. Chris, I didn't get that. What the heck? But hopefully that's a good start. But boy, it's very difficult when you have this kind of a goof on the first day of the season for anybody to trust your product. That's why bad boy streams are so prevalent. No names, please. But I felt like, or someone I know felt like an Ohioan going to Michigan for that marijuana hookup because you can't get it in Ohio, so you've got to go to other places to get that fix. Again, no names, please.
As someone who hypothetically, if there's someone out there that would have a device that they don't have to worry about these things, I had no clue any of this was going on, Reese, until you sent me
the
message. And you can tell. It's hard to sometimes tell tones through text message, but you could tell in your text message that you were not very happy. It's got to be so frustrating. And also, to me, Reese, and you have been in the streaming world in a cord cutter for a long time. And I know
several apps.
There's a lot of people out there like that. If you're Guardians TV and MLB and you set up this thing and you want people to pay $99, $100, whatever it is for the whole season of games, and then on the day of or the day before the start of baseball, Spectrum and DirecTV and all these places come out and say, hey, you can get Guardians games on our spot still. Don't worry about it. Like, you just undercut your product, didn't you?
You did. And it was fun to see on social media the cable flex by some. Oh, I'm watching the Guardians just fine. Yeah, it must be nice. It's the reluctance to cord cut. And I think Fubo, it was announced that subscribers there can carry the Major League Baseball's network and the several other channels that they provide so that you can kind of pick and choose which games you want to watch. But this was 4 hours after it was reported that Tanner Bybee was scratched from the opening day start because of food poisoning. So I'm like, well, this day, how is this going to get any worse? And, well, it really didn't, because the Guardians beat the Royals 7-4. You had Kyle Manzardo with 4 RBI on the day. He had a 2-run home run. And I had asked you yesterday, where are those going to come from? And so far, so good in your post-first base era without Josh Naylor. Everybody contributed. You know, it was a great start for the Cleveland Guardians to get an extra innings win against a team like Kansas City.
Yeah, the day ended great for Guardians fans. Not so well for us.
No,
Cincinnati
Guardians and Royals are going to be back
fans.
at Kauffman Stadium tomorrow at 4:10. My consternation is that they don't have the game the next day. Because once you get into the baseballness of it, once you're able to kind of separate yourself or separate your feelings from Major League Baseball and how screwy their television coverage is. And I guess we shouldn't be surprised when a league that allows the Oakland Athletics to be playing at a minor league ballpark, when they allow something like that to happen, you shouldn't really have any expectation that they're going to act in the best interests of their non-ticketed, non-gate consumers. They just don't care about you. They don't really care about the fans anyway. But I bring all of that back to the Cincinnati Reds. Where are you going to go? Well, they were in full force yesterday in Ohio's Queen City. And Hunter Green is probably, while he's not going to say it, you hope, really mad at the bullpen, really mad at his relievers.
Well, I think he's really happy for the first 3 innings of relief because it was really, really good.
Total team effort.
And then the 9th inning, not so much. And listen, I love Terry Francona. I love that Tito's the manager now. And I know he can only go on the body of work that these players have given him. And in spring training, Ian Jabot was really good. He threw a lot of strikes, and he made the roster. But I think Reds fans who have watched Ian Jabot pitch the past couple of years are like, what is this guy doing in the 9th inning? And sure enough, it bit Tito in the ass in his first game. It goes back to one of those things, and I get it's opening day, whatever, and Hunter Green has had a history of some arm issues and whatnot. I don't understand when a guy is pitching that good and he's only got 84 pitches, why you take him out after 5 innings. And I know that's the old school part of me, the old school baseball. That's one of your horses. Let him go. It drives me nuts.
We will get a Reds opening day recap, and when's Trey Hendrickson going to sign an extension? When are the Bengals going to offer it to him? Mike Petraglia in 2 minutes. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
Hey, Kroger shoppers. Get ready for Customer Appreciation Week happening March 26th through April 1st. We've packed 7 days with amazing deals. And if you're a Boost member, you can save even more. Get excited and get ready to save. Thanks for being such an awesome customer. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Customers can save big on Kroger brand pasta and Kroger brand broth. Select varieties are only 99 cents each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by High Bank Distillery, home of the best blended whiskey in America. Grab a bottle or dine in at their 3 restaurant locations, Grandview, Gahanna, and now in Westerville. Drink local. Drink High Bank.
Here's what's up on a Friday. Baseball on the field is up. Major League Baseball and their television issues not necessarily up. I would say very down. And Bengals fans, the spirits in Cincinnati could be up if they can get that Trey Hendrickson extension signed or maybe offered in the next couple of days. We go out now to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline and bring on friend of the program, Mike Petraglia. He's the host of the Jungle Roar and Code Reds podcasts. You can read his stuff on the Bengals and the Reds at clnsmedia.com. Mike, thanks so much for the time today. It wasn't the result the Reds wanted on the field, but yesterday, with everything that went on in Cincinnati, the start of the Terry Francona era, from your vantage point, how has that been received so far?
Really well, guys. I mean, I think Terry Francona has already established a mentality in the city regarding the team to expect more accountability. Yesterday's result didn't turn out the way he wanted, but I was really encaptured, enthralled, if you will, after the game when he said, if this one game, this one hurdle that we have to clear is going to set us back, then I've really misjudged the kind of group we have. And I thought that was very, very true. I think Francona is saying right now we've got to be mentally tough over the course of not just one game or 10 games or 50 games, but 162 games. And I think that's the mentality that's going to serve the Reds very well going forward. I also thought it was very telling that Terry Francona has asked for accountability not only between the coaching staff and the players, but players and players. And yesterday, it was Hunter Green after the game going up and kind of consoling, giving words of encouragement to Ian Gibaut, who gave up the game-tying single and the 3-run homer to Wilmer Flores. And he said, look, you're a dog. You are, and I mean that in a good sense. You are a dog. You're a competitor, and we're going to need you. You're one of our best pitchers, and we haven't lost any faith in you. Go out and get them the next time. That's the kind of mentality I think Francona is instilling in the clubhouse, and I think that's what people can sense about this ball club, albeit just one game into the season.
Mike, as someone who was not a big David Bell fan, the fact that the Reds have Terry Francona now is, I'm just over the moon about that. And I love the response yesterday after the tough loss, as you mentioned, by Hunter Green and Francona himself. But when he put Ian Gibaut out there for the 9th inning, as someone who has watched Ian Gibaut in the past, I was kind of questioning, like, I wonder why we're doing this. So no manager is beyond getting questioned, and obviously it didn't work out. What do you think the reason that they threw Gibaut out there in the 9th inning in Game 1?
Well, Francona obviously was asked about that after the game, and he said, since I used Emilio Pagan in the 6th inning, he was the other guy that if I hadn't used earlier in the game, he was the guy I was going to go to in the 9th inning. And there was no talk of Graham Ashcraft in that closer's role. Francona didn't want to just throw Ashcraft out there into the 9th inning like that. And Gibaut has closed games before. He's got that kind of bulldog mentality. He's got the experience. And Francona is like everybody else. He's got to find out who can handle which roles. Can Gibaut come back from this? And maybe if he's put in an 8th or 9th inning situation going forward, maybe he makes the adjustments. Maybe he learns from it. And maybe he's a tougher, better pitcher and comes out and is successful the next time. I think Francona's got to learn all of this on the fly in his first year as manager.
Mike Petraglia is our guest. He's the host of the Jungle Roar podcast and the Code Reds podcast. Again, read his stuff on the Bengals and the Cincinnati Reds at clnsmedia.com. Mike, moving over to the Bengals real quick, there's been a couple of reports this week that the Bengals have zero interest in a trade to anybody for Trey Hendrickson. They want to sign him to an extension. How close do you think both sides are to getting that done?
Close is a very relative word. A very relative word. But I think it's going to get done. I do. I think Trey Hendrickson has indicated to many of his teammates, and I think he's put it out there publicly, he wants to come back to Cincinnati. He loves playing football here. He loves the community and how it's treated him and his family. I think this right now is posturing on both sides, but I think the Bengals have too much to lose if they let Trey Hendrickson go because they don't have anybody really behind him that's established. They re-signed Joseph Asai. Cam Sample is coming back. Miles Murphy is somebody they haven't gotten enough out of in the first couple of years in stripes, and they are expecting bigger and much better things from Miles Murphy going forward. And Sam Hubbard has retired. So with so many question marks on the edge of the Bengals defense, I think they know they have to bring Trey Hendrickson back. And that's why they had no intention of really trading him. I think they wanted to see what his market was. But I do believe that Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals are not in a position where the relationship is so far gone they can't get a deal done. And I think Trey Hendrickson wants to be back. I would put the deal somewhere between $27 and $30 million per year, and maybe over 2 to 3 seasons, and including this one. And it'll come down to the guaranteed money, maybe between $40 and $50 million.
Mike, I'd said before the Bengals did the deals with Jamar and T that drafting and developing defensive talent was still a must. And I almost feel the same way after all of this has been done and everything you just said with Trey. What are your thoughts on what Cincinnati does at 17?
Well, it's best player available. First round is if you have a player or if you have a running back rated higher than a defensive edge or what have you, usually you go in the first round with the highest guy on your board. But because the need is so drastic on defense, especially the defensive line, I can't see the Bengals not taking a defensive lineman at 17. I think the Bengals go defense at 17, and because there is so much talent there, high-end talent, not second and third round talent, but high-end talent on the defensive line. I think that's where the Bengals almost have to go.
Mike, if the Bengals get Trey Hendrickson signed, that's mean they will have kept everyone here, meaning him and T. Higgins and Jamar. They got them all signed this offseason. Are you surprised if that ends up being the case? And would that be the case had Joe Burrow not been so vocal about wanting all three of those guys back?
Now, that is a great, great question. No, I don't think they would have re-signed T. Higgins if Joe Burrow hadn't been as vocal. They absolutely were going to re-sign Jamar Chase. That was never a doubt. That was getting done the whole time. When Joe Burrow and I think the three of them got together and T. Higgins said, look, I want to play with Joe. I want to play with Jamar. And, they got together and said, well, first of all, you got to get rid of your agent because he'll never do. That would have been David Milageta of Athletes First. You got to change your agent because he will not do a long-term deal with the Bengals. And he would have gotten substantially more for T than Rocky Arsenault did, who did a terrific job with both Jamar and T. But, T would have gotten more money. But because T made it clear to Joe that he wanted to stay, I think Joe said, look, went to ownership. He also went public, and he said, we need to sign our best guys, and that's Jamar and T, and we're going to get it done. And I think once that happened, it was a fait accompli. I think they were going to get that deal done. Trey Hendrickson, as I said earlier, that's a little different dynamic, but because Trey Hendrickson really loves Cincinnati and wants to stay here, and feels that if he stays, he's on a championship caliber roster. I think he wants to give it, 2 more seasons in Cincinnati. So that's where I see those dynamics of those negotiations with the Blackburn Brown family.
A lot of excitement in Ohio's Queen City over the next 12 months. Mike Petraglia, our guest. Download the Jungle Roar and Code Reds podcasts wherever it is you do your podcasting. Read his stuff on the Bengals and the Reds over at clnsmedia.com. Mike, thanks so much for the time today. Enjoy the weekend and enjoy what's to come in the next couple of months, bud. Thank you so much.
You bet. Take care.
And he joined us courtesy of the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Yeah, I was starting to think about they get the trade deal signed. They have a Reds team that's going to compete. That's a heck of a spring, heck of a summer, what could be October baseball in Ohio's Queen City, along with the Bengals, who now it's must compete for a Super Bowl, must at least make the AFC Championship game, considering what has been allocated resource-wise for the players here. And you look, obviously, with the Buffalo Bills and the money that they've spent, it's those two for me in the AFC.
If you are a fan of the Cincinnati teams, hope is about as high as it's ever been right now, I would think.
Kind of incredible. Chipotle, they had a day yesterday. We'll discuss next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Confidence is key this March, both in picking the right Cinderella teams for your bracket and the right contractor for your exterior project. When it comes to your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call the team you can trust. Newman Roofing. Call 614-NEW-ROOF today or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on Unlimited Welcome for $45 per month with AutoPay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Columbus Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on Unlimited Welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Hey guys, it's Timmy Hall, and it is my time of year. And when it comes to college basketball in March, one thing is for sure, nothing's for sure. Upsets, buzzer beaters, Cinderella's advancing, top seeds going home early. It's all going to happen, so bet the unexpected. Every upset every day with DraftKings Sportsbook. Live betting, exclusive content, promos, and parlays. DraftKings is the ultimate college basketball destination in March. First time, here's something special. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code TheFan971. That's code TheFan971 for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Ohio only. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Everybody poops, everybody pees. Mommy, will you call Mr. Rooter, please? 'Cause I gotta poop and I gotta pee. Only Mr. Rooter can clear the drain for me. Thank you, Mr. Rooter.
Hi, everybody. We call it what it is at Mr. Rooter. When you have a plumbing or drain problem, the team at Mr. Rooter is ready 7 days a week. Call us today and take advantage of our $95 drain cleaning special. Visit us at MrRooter.com. We'll be there quick.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring into savings at Ohio Mulch. Get 5 bags of red, black, or brown mulch for just $10.95 now through April 5th. Save $50 on home delivery, too. Visit OhioMulch.com today.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-324-VEIN. That's 614-324-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on the fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Distilled sports discussion served in light beer quantities. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Yes, you are. Thanks to Mike Petraglia for giving us some of his time in the last segment. If you missed that interview, a lot of excitement for Ohio's Queen City, for the Reds and for the Cincinnati Bengals in the coming months. Get that wherever it is you get your podcasts. After the show, about 20 minutes, those things load to wherever it is you do your podcasting. We're on YouTube at WBNS Radio anytime you want to rewatch anything you may have missed from this program. Are either of you guys Chipotle fans? Like, big on Chipotle? Like, I know most people have had it, but...
So I'm not big on that. I mean, I don't mind it, but like over by my house, there is a different burrito place that I usually go to before I go to Chipotle.
Does it rhyme with Joe's?
No, it does not.
Qdoba?
No, that's not it either.
Well, I've ran out of them. But
Chipotle said earlier this week that rumors about it filing for bankruptcy are just that.
They plan on adding stores.
Well, my guess, that was probably not news that Chipotle fans wanted to hear. Like, I think about Tyvis Powell, my companion on the Saturday Spectacular, almost every other week has a Chipotle burrito for lunch. And it's probably a couple times out of the week. But that news probably not coming as a great sign. But Chipotle came out and said, no, in fact, to your point, Baker, we're going to actually be making more restaurants appear all over the place. Then it was Tanner Bybee, who had food poisoning and was pulled from starting yesterday. He tweeted, "Stop talking about Chipotle tweets like that. Sick before I could even think about a bowl." So they got me kind of looking at people on Twitter making Tanner Bybee jokes about, did Chipotle give you the food poisoning that kept you out of opening day? Then I saw a picture that was floating around with Kirk Cousins, current Atlanta Falcons quarterback, at a Chipotle, getting a burrito, and people saying that Chipotle was located in Westlake. Now, Westlake's a suburb of Cleveland, leading everybody and their grandma, who's an internet sleuth, to put that red yarn together that Kirk Cousins was going to be going to the Cleveland Browns. Now, I think the Falcons still owe him like $28 million, and for that to happen, the Browns would either have to trade something to Atlanta for Cousins' services, or the Falcons would just do Kirk a solid, which I don't know why in the world that would happen. But then Cousins tweeted, "Salad with double chicken never fails me," which that sounds like a very healthy order. I've never had the Chipotle salad. I've had a burrito bowl, but not the salad itself because I'm not a big fan of the dressing. But then this got me to thinking about other pictures that have surfaced online about so-and-so to Cleveland, like Joe Flacco before he signed with the Browns 2 seasons ago. There was a picture of him on an airplane before he went to Cleveland. And when I'd worked in the city for the Fan up there was a rumor that Peyton Manning's wife was looking into dental offices in the Berea area for her children. Meaning, Peyton Manning's going to come here and fix the Browns. And then for a while in like the 2010s, it was, I heard Bill Cowher bought a house in Westlake. So I don't know if any of you guys had heard about fun rumors that just make their way through the telephone and turn out obviously to be wild. Like, I don't expect this to equate to Kirk Cousins being the quarterback for the Browns. Like, I thought about it yesterday. That Kenny Pickett QB1 graphic that the Browns tweet out before their Week 1 game is going to hit like a 275-pound Russian in Dana White's concussion circus. It's just, I mean, you're going to see our starting quarterback week 1, Kenny Pickett's going to have like the old school rock and roll thing that they've been trying to do.
I don't think anyone believes that, right?
Wait, which one?
That Kenny Pickett is going to start the season as the Browns QB.
Who else they got?
I mean, there's a lot of people, and you've heard some NFL insiders recently say that they still believe that the Browns will somehow, some way, end up with Kirk Cousins as their starting quarterback this year. I don't know why they're against your guy, Reese. Like, why they won't bring back Eric Reeser's favorite Cleveland Brown of all time here. It just, doesn't it make sense? It makes too much sense. He had success in this system with this team.
The more I think about it, it feels obvious to me that it's not mutual. That Flacco's got no interest in coming to Cleveland. Now, what are the other options? Pittsburgh, or he could wait it out for there's going to be an injury to a quarterback either in training camp or early in the season where he could parachute in the first month or sometime in early October. And if you need a veteran presence in your quarterback room, or some team would sign him for the veteran minimum just to have a camp arm. Like, those are kind of the options that await him that he would actually like to do rather than go back to Cleveland. I can't imagine a veteran like Flacco would get into his feelings about the Browns not wanting him because they wanted to make sure the quarterback room was as comfortable for Deshaun Watson as possible, which is what all the reporting was, that the Browns couldn't have the fans cheering for Joe Flacco week 1 when you're trying to roll Deshaun Watson back out there. Like, that they felt that would have been a nightmare scenario, which I think speaks more to Deshaun Watson than anything else.
1,000%.
That he just doesn't have the mental fortitude to handle that kind of stuff despite being paid $230 million. But that's a conversation that I don't wish to have anymore. So for Cleveland and even for Pittsburgh, like, what are your plans now, guys? And I still don't think Kirk Cousins is it, because what would it take for the Browns? What would it take for Atlanta, knowing that Cleveland's getting desperate here? I mean, of course, you could start the rookie week 1 if that's what you take it to. But if you're Atlanta, do you ask the Browns for 33 for Kirk Cousins? See what you can get? A second-round pick, maybe a first-round next year? How desperate are you?
And I would think Atlanta, you're just trying to get Cleveland to eat as much money of the Kirk Cousins contract that you can, right? So maybe it's probably not a lot is the ask in draft pick wise. The ask is, hey, take as much salary as you guys can handle off of our books here so we can get out of this situation, save a little bit of face, hopefully, and go ahead. You talk about Pittsburgh and Cleveland, and the two that a lot of people talked about way back when are still the two that are kind of looming there, right? It's Aaron Rodgers looming in Pittsburgh, and it's this Kirk Cousins thing, especially now with this supposed Chipotle tweet in Westlake.
Carson Wentz is still out there.
Was it Mary Kay that said that there might be some interest?
There's mutual interest, but honestly, if that's going to be the route that they take, just try Pickett. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think there's a chasm of difference between Kenny Pickett as your starting quarterback and Carson Wentz at this point in his career as your starting quarterback.
And let's be honest, of the guys we're talking about here, right? There's probably not a lot of difference in all of them, and Kenny Pickett, Carson Wentz, and Joe Flacco. The only difference is with a guy like Flacco, he's older, but there's at least some familiarity and a little bit of history with success in this system.
How much do you think the eyeballs that Chipotle got on their brand yesterday, how much do you think that's worth in terms of advertising dollars?
I mean, it's probably priceless.
Like, the Browns fan base being as crazed as it is for quarterback news at any time of the year. And you get a little bit of Tanner Bybee stuff with Guardians fans. Not a whole lot, but I just thought the connection was funny. On the same day that all happens, in the same week, that they're like, no, we're not going bankrupt. We're, in fact, expanding. If it is a marketing ploy, a hell of a marketing ploy. Phil tells me that I'm out of my mind. The salad dressing at Chipotle is so good. He says he puts it on his bowls and burritos. Okay. It's fine.
Did you guys have this honey chicken yet that everyone's talking about?
No, have you?
I have not.
No, I have not.
It's hot honey chicken?
I guess, but it's been a big talking point. I haven't made my way over there. I will. The next time I go, I will have it, but I haven't gone out of my way yet to go get it.
I know that Donato's had a hot honey pizza, and I had tried that, and it was pretty good.
Our friends at High Bank do a mean pepperoni pizza with hot honey on it. It's not spicy honey, but it's warmed honey on the pizza. But I think the Chipotle is like hot honey. But I don't think I've ever been to Chipotle and not had their red salsa. So I don't know if I could do a hot honey chicken with red salsa. That just feels like too much hot. But I wouldn't want to do it.
I think you could do it. You'll find a way.
I guess. I mean, you just order it and suck it up. But I can't tell you the next time I'm planning on going to Chipotle. But have a day yesterday for the Burrito King. Coach Prime's one step closer to a Colorado-Syracuse spring game. We'll discuss that next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
If your idea of the perfect radio show is all Buckeyes all the time, then it's your lucky day, Slappy, the Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at MasheterFord.net. Thanks.
Spring forward, Columbus, with the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling Services. We're here to thaw you out with this limited time offer. Get up to $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer is too good to pass up. The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling now together to serve you better with $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer won't last. Call us today, 614-232-2222. That's 614-232-2222.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.50%, APR 6.56% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-THIRD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, three-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, two-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to LifeSearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit LifeSearch.com today.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Are you sick of the Ohio winter weather like me? Well, spring camping is almost here, and deals are blooming at RCD RV. From March 15th through the 29th, take advantage of our spring savings event. Over 800 new and pre-owned RVs in stock. Let us help plan a springtime adventure for you. New travel trailers starting as low as $12,995. Campers for every single budget. Visit the locations, Delaware, Heath, and Pataskala, or shop online at rcdrv.com. Don't wait. RCD RV is your destination for springtime adventure.
In-betweens are made for pizza. In between meals, meetings, thoughts, that's pizza time. Stop at Speedway and get 2 hot, delicious slices of pizza and a Mountain Dew 20-ounce for $5 with Speedy Rewards. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 4/29/25. See app for full terms.
We're in Raising Cane's with the man that started it all.
Wait, are you the Yes Chef guy?
We got chicken fingers, crinkle cut fries, Texas toast, and their world famous cane sauce. could shed a tear right now. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Evan Cohen here. Picking a place to build a life is a lot like selecting a draft pick. Make a decision that will set you up for long-term success. Pick Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, you'll find dynamic career opportunities, beautiful seasons, affordable living, and legendary weekends. From its high quality of life and great schools to its fine arts, culinary, and pro sports scenes, Wisconsin gives you so much to look forward to. That's why you should pick Wisconsin. Learn more about making Wisconsin your home. Visit pickwisconsin.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Blue Jackets enter the weekend 2 points back of the Canadiens for the final wildcard spot in the East. CBJ hosts the Vancouver Canucks tonight at 7. You can hear that game on the Fan with coverage at 6:30. Jackets are in Ottawa on Saturday. In college hoops, 4 tickets to the Elite Eight were punched last night. Texas Tech beat Arkansas 85-82 in overtime. The Red Raiders will meet top-seeded Florida on Saturday in the West Regional Final. In the East, Alabama dropped BYU 113-88. Crimson Tide will play Duke Saturday night for a trip to the Final Four. First game of the night tonight, as 4 more regional semifinals are on Friday, has Michigan State battling Ole Miss around 7:10. Winner gets Michigan or Auburn Sunday in the Elite Eight. This update is sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, give Dr. Mark Levy's office a call at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Top men are working on everything except this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
Reeser Baker Cole on a final March Friday edition of the program. The football Buckeyes are off today. They're going to have practice number 9 of the spring tomorrow. Held practice number 6 yesterday. You heard from Keenan Bailey, James Laurinaitis, the tight end and the linebackers coach, respectively. We'll play back some of their comments from yesterday coming up here in the next 20 minutes. And at about 10:30, we'll talk with Tim May of the Tim May Show podcast at Letterman Row. Get his thoughts on what he saw, not only from practice, but from the Buckeyes Pro Day, and then what he expects from that spring showcase coming up on April 12th. It had really been Matt Rule that kind of set off the surge of coaches canceling or altering their spring game plans. You know, he was the first to announce it publicly that Nebraska wasn't going to be doing a spring game. And his reasoning, I thought, was stupid, but the idea that the football season itself is so much longer, that there's so much portal movement that makes rosters different month to month almost, that would make a team, especially like Ohio State or like USC or Georgia or Texas, that's looking at a 16-game season and a march to a national championship. Then 2 months later, when you're awarded the trophy, oh, yeah, you got to start spring. You're not trying to get your guys who you're going to need to make another run any more susceptible to injury. Then the counter argument is, well, it's football. You kind of can't be scared of injury. But you also want to have more tire on the treads when you get into that season, especially for Ohio State. Game 1, as I'm sure you've heard by now, is Texas, August 30th at noon. So it was really interesting for me to hear a couple weeks ago Deion Sanders bring up the idea, as Colorado is going to hold their spring game, I believe, April 19th. It'll be on ESPN2. That what colleges should be doing now is do a couple days of practice against another school and then have a spring scrimmage against another program. And it was Fran Brown of Syracuse who responded, the Orange will show up whenever, wherever. And then the NCAA chimed in and said, well, wait, can't do that. But who's really listening to the NCAA anymore? I mean, they're doing the basketball tournament, but that's really all they're good for. And so you had Sanders and athletic director of Colorado, Rick George, speaking at a press conference saying that they've submitted waivers or waiver requests asking for this to be the case, as we are really close to April 19th. So to get that thing to happen by that date, because the ESPN window is locked in or on ESPN2, that they're getting closer. Like, they want this to happen, and that's an awesome idea. I thought it was awesome then. I think if it comes to fruition on the 19th, you have Colorado against Syracuse. Why the hell not?
Exactly, and it's funny, Reese, they're going through the proper channels here to try to get NCAA approval. I wonder if they don't, if they'll just say, screw it.
Yeah,
and
what's
do it
NCAA
anyway,
going to do?
Because as we've seen, the NCAA really doesn't have a lot of power anymore to enforce any of their rules. Anytime it's taken to court or whatnot, they lose and everything. What are they going to do if Syracuse and Colorado do this? What are they going to try to, what's their punishment going to be if they do it? I think it's a cool thing to do. I would think somehow you're going to have to do it. Like, if they decide to do this, I feel like they're going to have to try to maybe do it next year where Colorado goes to Syracuse. Somehow this has to be
home and home.
It has to be mutually beneficial, right, for both schools to profit of it, make NIL money, whatever. I think it's a great idea. I think we're just dismissing spring games too easily, and how much actually, even if it's just, it's not really football, but how much that really means and helps. And you talk about injuries. You can have injuries in practice.
Yeah,
we saw Tyleek Williams the other day just running a 40. Like, it's a tough sport. Injuries are unfortunately a part of it. No, you don't want your guys getting hurt. But like we've talked about with Ohio State, say Ohio State did this with someone, I'm guessing you're not going to see a lot of Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Smith and Sonny Styles because you don't need to see those guys.
Right.
You know what you have in those guys.
Yeah, bring me Rich Rod and West Virginia, right? A school that you're rarely ever going to schedule in the regular season. Have them come up to Columbus and then have the Buckeyes go down to Morgantown. It's interesting. So Rick George in that press conference, Colorado's athletic director, says, quote, "We wouldn't have submitted it," talking about the waiver, "if we didn't think there was a legitimate chance for us to get that to happen. I think there's a really good chance that it could happen." And if you're asking yourself, well, there's only a couple of weeks before that April 19th date, can you expedite that kind of travel, that kind of the logistical hurdles that you would have to jump over? Rick was asked about that too, and he brought up COVID, how in the 2020 season, games were canceled a day, 2 days before. Some games were rescheduled for a week. And so their ability to be flexible in logistical headaches, I think they learned a lot from that, felt like a 10-year year that was the COVID pandemic. And they've taken a lot of what they've learned and they're extrapolating it out to 2025, where they say this can absolutely happen in a month. And it's bold, but I think that's what you need in college football, especially if you're looking ways to make more money, because this does that. I mean, it's a wonderful marriage, I think, of the ideas that Deion Sanders had and then Mike Gundy had of doing spring bedlam. And you can take NIL from ticket revenue. You can take NIL from television revenue. You're going to have to share it anyway come July 1, and both schools can benefit and both schools can profit off of it. If you were to take the West Virginia-Ohio State example, both of those schools in conferences with Fox. Fox, I think, would love to air that kind of a spring scrimmage. It's, the UFL season starts, I think, tomorrow or maybe even tonight, and you don't tell me that spring scrimmage between the Buckeyes and the Mountaineers would double a regular season UFL game. That's what Fox is looking forward to.
It's very interesting, and you're right. We talk about all the time with sports. Bo says it a lot. They're in the business of making television shows, right? This is a television show. Whether it's real football or not, it's some assimilation of it, and people are going to love it. Coach Prime, you can say whatever you want about him.
Everything's been said about him.
Man, does he sure get eyeballs upon his program, though. And something like this just seems right up his alley, right? To be the first one to do this, to have everybody talking about him, talking about Colorado. He is literally, when he was a player, and even nowadays, he's like the greatest promoter of all time.
And the thing for Syracuse is they've got their spring game scheduled for April 12th. It's not on television. How big of a boom would it be for the Orange to have a nationally televised spring scrimmage against a brand like Colorado? Like, it raises a lot of boats here. So I hope this happens. Not sure it's going to happen this year, but maybe for next year, that's something that everybody can consider. For this year, for this spring, Ohio State, practice number 6 yesterday, practice number 7, if I'm doing the math right, will be tomorrow. So the Buckeyes do have a day off today. But we heard from James Laurinaitis and the linebackers yesterday. Here's Sonny Styles talking about that transition, more so as a full-time LB this year. And also that defensive coordinator and Matt Patricia having a new one's pretty refreshing.
I think new is refreshing. So, having Coach Patricia has been great. The way he teaches the game, the way he teaches the defense has been great. So, I'm excited to rebuild it again. I think it's good. It's a good thing that if players on this team are able to understand, this team has to make their own story. You have to rebuild from step one. We're not national. You won a national championship. We won a national championship last year. We have to hold on to that forever. But we got to rebuild and create our own story and start from ground zero.
And here's his linebackers coach, James Laurinaitis, talking about Styles and being that leader.
He's the ultimate pro. He's been that way. Obviously his dad and mom have done a great job in kind of raising him and Lorenzo and kind of how they go about their business. Very intentional. I've been secretly pounding the table for Sonny Styles to play linebacker for probably since I got here. You just saw that frame and you knew just let the kid eat a cheeseburger and he'll get to the right weight. And from day one that we said we're making the switch, man, he just wanted to work on his feet and work and work and work. He's the same way. I mean, you said the leader of the front 7. I think he's the leader of the entire team.
We'll hear more from your linebackers coach, more from your tight ends coach, a couple LBs and some TEs coming up next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Common Man here. I take my job as endorser for Germain Lexus very seriously. I want to make sure that every Lexus on the lot meets my expectations. That's why I personally sit in each one. I massage the leather. Sometimes I take a nap in the back seat. If that's not a selling point, I don't know what is. Deal time. Lease the 2025 ES350 for as low as $409 per month or get 3.49% financing up to 60 months on their most popular new Lexus models. 2 locations to serve you, Dublin and Easton. Check them out online, GermainLexus.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Did you know even the smallest increase in mortgage rates can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your loan? Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. It's true, even a 0.25% change in rate can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your mortgage. But with Third Federal's new Early Rate Lock, you don't have to take chances. Early Rate Lock is the only pre-approval that locks in your rate at pre-approval, even before you find a house. Plus, we're so confident that our rates are the lowest, if you find a lower rate, we'll beat it or give you $1,000. And now through April 15th, get pre-approved with Third Federal and we'll pay all of your closing costs. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today.
Right now at Third Federal, even before you find a home, lock in 6.50%, APR 6.56% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. Zero closing costs on low-cost loans only. See conditions for lowest rate guarantee at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
Hey, it's Anthony. Of course, I sit and do the show 3 hours a day. But after that, I'm looking to get things done, enjoy the spring weather. So I want to be on my feet a lot, playing golf, working out, just moving around. I was introduced to the Good Feet store because my feet were aching way too often. And what I found there is a 3-step custom arch support system that has me feeling awesome. My personally fit arch supports have helped realign my feet, reposition my body into a more ideal position, and not only that, strengthen my feet to help support me. It's made all the difference in how I feel every day. The Good Feet store is going to help you where you need relief and find the arch supports that work best for you. And when you wear them as a system, their arch supports are more effective at long-term pain reduction and elimination. So go in, take the free test walk. Good Feet arch supports are immediately available. Their products are proudly made in the USA. They're on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City or at goodfeet.com.
The Buckeyes are national champions. And you listen to it all right here on The Fan. And next year when they do it again, it'll be here on The Fan. And the year after that, well, you know the drill. Always and forever, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
Feeling the aches and pains of everyday life slowing you down? Introducing Blue Emu, America's #1 emu oil formula for pain relief. In a recent clinical trial, 91% of users saw improvement after using Blue Emu. Whether you're working hard, playing harder, or just staying active, Blue Emu penetrates deep to relieve joint and muscle pain fast. And best of all, you won't stink. Join the 91% who felt the difference. Find Blue Emu at your local retailer or online. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Scattered light showers, some thunder around as we head through this morning into the afternoon. High temperatures will make their way to the 70s later today. Look for a drying pattern tonight. Temperature down to around 60. Mostly dry Saturday, but a few rumbles of thunder or a shower can't be ruled out. Better rain chance, including strong to severe storms on Sunday. Make sure you're staying weather aware. That's your latest 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here at The Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan. We'll read your emails on the air, but we won't tell you where to send them. Hey, we're not doing all the work for you. This is Bishop and Friends.
So Ohio State's not only got the job of defending its national championship, but you've also got, on the defensive side, replacing 8 starters. Pretty easy ask, right? I mean, when you have the talent that Ohio State gets year in and year out, it's just reload, right? You're reloading the clip. You're trying to sharpen the silver bullets in the spring, in fall camp, so they're silver bullet caliber and they're armor piercing by the time you get to the actual games, especially August 30th against a sophomore quarterback at the time, but a guy making his first start. And so I joke about the ease of doing all of this because it's incredibly hard. That's why so few are successful at it. But the idea that they've done such a good job in recruiting talent from all over the country, and they bring in coaches that understand not only what it means to play college football at the highest level, but what it means to do so at Ohio State, you can kind of understand why so many of those guys, like Cody Simon, came back, why they wanted to try this last season of their eligibility when maybe there could have been an NFL pasture for Cody last year, but certainly for other guys on that defense, they made the decision, let's try this again, and they hang a banner for it.
And to speak to your point there about the job that Ohio State has done in recruiting and all of that, it's one thing for Ohio State fans to be like, well, yeah, we lost 8 starters on defense, but a lot of these guys have contributed. You know, Kenyatta Jackson, Caden Curry, we've seen them a lot. We think Jermaine Matthews might be better than a Denzel Burke at that starting cornerback spot. And Julian Sayin has all the talent in the world. But the odds makers are in there as well. Ohio State is the favorites right now over at ESPN Bet to win the national championship. And they have all of those questions. It's pretty remarkable at the whole we don't rebuild, we reload type thing. Ohio State reloads as good as anybody ever has.
And you saw it last season with the linebackers that every chance they got, they put Arvell Reese in. And that, to me, is a guy that you could not leave off the field. That almost any time they were playing defense, anytime there was a defensive snap, Arvell Reese had to be there for Ohio State. Here's linebackers coach and former All-American James Laurinaitis talking about Reese.
Arvell is so talented, so talented. I'm grateful here at Ohio State to have a guy that looks like Sonny and Arvell, and the length and his ability to move around and position flex just makes him all the more valuable. I think what we're doing is we're realizing everything that Arvell Reese can do, and it's a lot. It's a lot. So that's a special talent. That's a special talent. And he has matured so much from 2 years ago. And what I always appreciate, and I mean this, what I appreciate about Arvell Reese is that he has the inability Like, he'll joke around, but, like, when you ask him a question, he will tell you, like, the honest-to-God's truth. And he don't care how like, silly it makes him seem. It doesn't matter. Like, I've coached guys where there could be trips out there and, like, hey, why didn't you walk? Well, I thought this. And they try to explain the whole thing. Like, Arvell would just be like, I didn't even know there's trips out there. I didn't see it. Like, he'll just tell you honestly. Like, okay, well, we'll work on that, you know? But that's what I appreciate about him. Like, he's going to give you the absolute truth every single time.
And so for Reese now, he steps into a starting position, steps into a leadership role. And even for Sonny Styles, you step into you need to take a greater leadership position because you lose a guy like Cody Simon in that linebacker room. Here is Sonny comparing the defense from last year, that again won a national championship, to what they expect from the Silver Bullets in 2025.
You see a lot of similarities, but I mean, it's different people. You don't got Jack Sawyer, you don't got JT, you don't got Tyleek. You got different guys up front. You got Kenyatta, who's 6'6", whatever 260. He's like the most ideal prototype DN. He's going to be a great player. Caden Curry, he's just a ball player. He's a defensive end that plays every special team, so he's a freak athlete. You got two explosive, interiors. Then you got, obviously Arvell Reese, 6'4", 240, explosive, can do it all. So, I mean, you got different guys in different places. So you got new faces. The differences you'll see, I think you'll just see Coach Patricia being able to move us around to different places, however he may want to do it, because it's just different guys from last year. But obviously the defense from last year was very, very successful. So a lot to live up to. But like I said, we're creating our own story, and we're creating our own story as a team, and then we're creating our own story as a defense.
And there's great opportunity, right? Not just for Sonny and for Arvell, but for Peyton Pierce, who James Laurinaitis raved about yesterday, but for Riley Pettijohn, the highly ballyhooed or just ballyhooed freshman out of the state of Texas. I think he was a 4-star. Like, there's so much talent and opportunity for all of these guys, not only to get meaningful snaps and to make meaningful plays against teams like Texas, but to build as you go through Grambling, as you go through Ohio, and then some of the dreck of the Big Ten. But you've also got what should be a tremendous challenge for a Penn State offense that come November 1st, and then a chance to make right for the past 4 seasons of losing to Michigan.
You mentioned Peyton Pierce, and if I'm not mistaken, Reese, that was James Laurinaitis' first official recruit that he really went out and went after and brought into the building, the kid from Tennessee. And you hear the way that James talked about him yesterday. It sure seems like, and we don't know what this Ohio State defense is going to look like, right? We don't know if they're going to be a team that only really plays 2 linebackers moving forward. Or are we going to see more 3 linebacker sets with a new defensive coordinator? It'll all be interesting. Peyton Pierce, though, sure seems like a guy that in some way or some form is going to get on the field this year, kind of like we saw Arvell Reese do last year.
Because for James, for Tim Walton, for Matt Patricia, these guys, obviously they have, and Patricia especially, has a Bible of defensive schemes and things that he wants to do. But when you boil it all down and you try to keep it as simple as possible, because the simpler it is, the faster you play, because the less you think, you look to guys like Peyton Pierce and say, we just have to get him on the field. So what can we do to get our best 11 on the field, regardless of what formation we might want to run or what formation the offense is running? Like, of course, they're going to do a lot of their scheming week to week on the offense that they're going to be facing for Ohio State. But it sometimes, I think, will boil down to, you're our best 11. Try to move the ball on them. And that's a great spot for any coach to be in, especially when you know you're going to have that in the spring.
And it's going to be interesting watching this Ohio State defense this year with someone like Matt Patricia. Maybe they will be more like an NFL defense in the fact that they will adjust more. You may see different personnel, like maybe the best 11 when they match up against this team is this way, but when they match up against this scheme, the best 11 or something totally different. I think it's one of the fascinating things to see with this defense this year, not only with a new defensive coordinator, but also 8 new guys on the field.
Now to the other side of the ball, yesterday you had Keenan Bailey, tight ends coach for Ohio State, and Will Kasmerick and Max Clare, the new transfer from Purdue, able to give some of their thoughts on how the spring's going. Here's Max Clare, who there's a lot of expectations for Clare to In terms of stats produced for Ohio State this season, here's him talking about what attracted him to Columbus.
I think just the environment and just the people here, you know what I mean? The coaches, so much experience, and then the players you get to play against every day, it's going to make you better. And guys like Jelani, you know, he pushes me every day, so it's good to have people like that around here.
Big portal get for the Buckeyes, but you talked about Jelani Thurman there. Will Kasmerick returns, look to be 100% healthy going into the spring and then for fall camp. Keenan Bailey, the tight ends coach, says the expectations don't change. They're always going to be ridiculously high.
We're not changing our DNA. Like you cut open Ohio State tight end, he's going to be a bad dude who goes really freaking hard and is just gritty as all get out. But I'm not saying that we're going to be overlooked this year at all. It's a 180. I told the guys we should set the tone for the offense, for the team, you know, nationally with toughness and effort and all that, but production, and we should be a driving force. Like I challenge them all the time. Someone comes to practice, you want to see what the Ohio State Buckeye fight culture is, a brotherhood, just go watch the tight ends. Don't watch it. Like that's who the Buckeyes are. So I've challenged them, you know, lead from the front now. We don't need to be, you know, the least kind of the sleeper unit. No, like set the tone.
Reese, we talked about this the other day with the tight end room, and it's hard because there's so many mouths to feed here at Ohio State. Just looking at the receiving core, right? Jeremiah Smith, obviously the best player in the country. Then you've got Carnell Tate, who was productive last year. Brandon Ennis, who has shown flashes. And you've heard a lot about some of these freshmen coming in. Quincy Porter and Bryson Rogers from last year, obviously. There's a ton of talent. Then you got the running back situation, and maybe it's not quite like it was last year with Quinshawn and Travion, but you're hearing wonderful things about James Peoples and C.J. Donaldson, both of them. We heard Austin Ward yesterday talking about how he, I think he was on Morning Juice yesterday, and he talked about C.J. Donaldson. He's really becoming a believer of him. So it's hard with all those mouths to feed to get the production out of the tight end room. But, man, this tight end room is really talented. You know how much I love the addition of Max Clare last year for Purdue, and it's a different animal at Purdue. 51 catches, 685 yards receiving. That would be the most productive season ever for an Ohio State tight end as far as receiving yards. That's 4 off the catch mark for a receiving season for an Ohio State tight end. I love Max Clare. Will Kasmerick showed he's a definitely capable guy last year on this team. And we know Jelani Thurman has all the upside in the world and the athletic ability if it's ever put together. I do think this tight end room may be the best ever, talent-wise, that Ohio State has had on the field with Clare and with Thurman, Bennett Christian, Will Kasmerick, all of those guys. It's just, is there enough football for all of them?
And it's a champagne problem. I know Ryan said that a lot in regards to how much talent that they've got, among other things that, you know, are first world football problems for teams like Ohio State. But it does give at least me some more faith in Brian Hartline. The first time he's going to be calling an offense full time is all of these weapons that he can choose from at different points in a game. It's almost for a defense, pick your poison, because if you want to block, if you want to double Jeremiah Smith, okay, well, here's Max Clare, the same kind of route that G. Scott ran against Oregon that kind of blew the doors open and made you realize that this is what Ohio State was supposed to be at the beginning of the season. It was the right time to do it in the Rose Bowl.
And listen, it's a blessing, but it can also be a curse, right? Because you can't forget your top guys. You can't try to get too cute with this. You still, at your core, have to go to those top guys and get them the football.
We are blessed, as always, to speak with Tim May. He'll come on in 2 minutes. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
When you're on the go, every minute of the day counts. Meijer Home Delivery and Pickup helps you make the most of every second. Get all your weekly shopping online, quickly and easily, from wherever you are, whenever you want. Then have your Meijer order delivered to your home, or swing by and pick it up when you're out and about. Whatever works best for your schedule. The good life is in reach with Meijer Home Delivery and Pickup.
The best matchup this month is you in a new ride. From Coghlan Ford, get a new 2024 Ford F-150 with prices as low as $45,940, or buy a new 2024 Super Duty starting at under $49,000 during Ford Truck Month. Visit CoghlanFord.com.
All factory rebates to dealer. All prior sales excluded. In-stock units only. No security deposit required. Residency restrictions may apply. See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/25.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
When General Sherman marched through Georgia, he was listening to this show.
Use your skills for good, young warrior.
This is Bishop and Friends.
Reeser Baker Cole on this Friday. As Ohio State marches through spring, Buckeyes will have practice number 8 tomorrow. We go out now to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Bring on the host of the Tim May Show podcast on Letterman Row. Great friend of the program, Tim May. You can't say Will Howard to this question, but who at Ohio State's Pro Day made themselves the most money?
I did another there. I'm trying not to say anymore. But
I do that. I'm trying to, Tim. We'll work on it together.
You said besides Will Howard.
Aside from Will Howard, because I think he's the consensus, no?
The guy who jumped out at me just as in, wow, how do you get him on your team is Travion Henderson. Obviously, Quinshon Judkins did not work out. I like a lot of guys. You know, Emeka Egbuka is going to play no matter where he goes because of his accountability and the fact he's really good. And his more than anything else, when you add an Emeka Egbuka, you're adding a stalwart individual who can become a leader of your team probably in the first 6 months of being there. But I really like the show that Travion Henderson put on, not just running those little running between the stanchions or whatever, but the way he caught the ball in passing drills from Will Howard, the way he can run down balls, deep balls. You know, there aren't a lot of running backs, believe it or not, that can actually do that kind of stuff and actually consider themselves a true blue running back. But Travion Henderson would be my answer.
Tim, you talked a little bit about Emeka there. It sure seems like Emeka Egbuka with maybe a Mason Graham is the safest pick in this draft. There's no way, barring injury, Emeka Egbuka isn't a solid 15-year wide receiver in the league.
Yeah, 15 is a long time, but I'm just talking about what he brings to you almost immediately, because you guys were around him, or you know what I'm talking about. He's just a solid stand-up individual on top of being a really good football player, plus he likes golf.
Can't be a bad guy then.
No, he'll be able to decompress and hit the links somewhere. You just hope he doesn't get drafted like in Buffalo or something.
Tim, I was thrilled to hear you bring up Travion Henderson because what stood out to me from him the most last season is how he was able to put people on their butts in pass protection.
Yeah.
And I think that can make you a ton of money in the NFL. And as a Browns fan, absolutely in the second round. If Travion's there, sure, you take him and you have that kind of production, assuming he's healthy, for what could be a couple of seasons. How does Ohio State go about returning or at least trying to make up for that loss in pass pro at the running back spot?
Well, you start with the People's Choice, James Peoples. I mean, he had yes, he didn't play a whole lot, and he rarely ever played with, the first-team offensive line, whatever that was, finally at the end of the year. It was crazy. You think about they won the national championship without Josh Simmons. Josh, do or don't call me Jimmy Simmons, and maybe the best left tackle in this draft. And then they also, without the Remington Award winner, Seth McLaughlin, they still put together an offensive line that got the job done. But James Peoples now is running, with the first team. You do believe. I mean, you're going to play a pair and probably a spare there minimum. But Carlos Lachlan is the factor here, is the X factor here with these running backs, because there is no doubt about it. I mean, I'm not dissing Tony Alford. I like Tony Alford, but Carlos Lachlan brought I don't know, more lead to the pencil when it came to the running back room, in my opinion, last year, and it showed up big time. It showed up on the 3rd and 11 pass when Travion Henderson stepped in there and picked up a blitzer. When Texas brought at least, I think, 6 guys, and Will Howard was able to hook up with Jeremiah Smith to clinch the game, the national championship. So, yes, that is what you have to prove as much as anything else, that you will step up there and are willing to take on blitzers. I think James Peoples is a really smart guy. He's a great guy to be around, but he's got athletic ability, and he's built, he's built a lot like I think he's a little bit bigger version of J.K. Dobbins from the standpoint of just physically how he looks. The fact that they're from a similar part of the country is just coincidence.
Tim, I think you were the first to be on the James Peoples bandwagon there when he was coming in as a freshman last year. We're a handful of practices into spring now. Who is someone that we're not really talking about that you think this season we will be talking about?
Well, I've talked about him a little bit, but they finally figured out, okay, wait a minute. C.J. Hicks does this about as well as anybody in the country, maybe better, meaning moving him to the edge. Is he going to start at defensive end? Probably not, because you've got, Kenyatta Jackson and Caden Curry, 2 guys have really paid their dues, but also are playing well. But C.J. Hicks, that move of C.J. Hicks to the edge and finally recognizing what he does best and letting him do it. He can still drop into linebacker play because he's, former linebacker, things like that. But I think C.J. Hicks is a guy, and then a couple other players, I'm trying to remember who they were, kind of agreed with me the other day, or at least I asked them, and that's who they named, because he just he's hitting a sweet spot in terms of his athletic ability, I think, with that move. And it just, how much that was already going to happen, in a conspiracy between James Laurinaitis and Larry Johnson isn't clear. But Matt Patricia and the way he approaches defensive coaching, I've been telling people all along, I really like this hire of Matt Patricia, man, because he's open to anything that enhances the defense from a standpoint of deploying personnel. He's not stuck in a 4-2-5 or a 4-3-4 or any kind of schematic you can think of. He's really into getting people in position to take advantage of what they do best. But more than anything, all right, now go make plays like with that. And so I think C.J. Hicks and Matt Patricia have come along at the same time together from the standpoint of here's a guy who really may exploit what C.J. Hicks does best.
Download the Tim May Show podcast wherever it is you do your podcasting. Tim, a lot of talent in that linebacker room. Is Peyton Pierce this year's Arvell Reese?
Here's the thing. Doesn't matter what I think, right, or you think.
Of course it does.
James Laurinaitis, no. It matters on who's going to send him into the game and prove us right. James Laurinaitis really likes him. He made that pretty clear yesterday when a bunch of us got to talk to him. And Peyton Pierce, like I was talking with, I hosted the Buckeye show last night with Tyvis Powell. I mean, man, I really enjoy being on with him. But I was talking to Tyvis about this. Sometimes you see a guy with just a gleam in his eye. I think that carries you a long way, in terms of just enjoying what you're doing, and then having ability to do it. And that's Peyton Pierce. I mean, he was really fired up just about the way he got to play on special teams and stuff. And now he really likes, for example, he really has bought into what Matt Patricia is preaching in terms of the maybe slightly new style they're going to play on defense. You don't just throw everything out, but as Jim Trussell said, when I had him on the Tim May Show several weeks ago, it's that famous book, if it ain't broke, And I said, fix it. And he goes, no, the famous book is if it ain't broke, break it. And that's kind of what they've done a little bit with this defense this spring, because you got to have a little different look than you had a year ago because people catch up to you too fast. There's too many qualified coaching personnel on everybody's staff now for somebody not to, decipher what you're doing. So you got to bring something new along. And I think Peyton Pierce is that. Hey, by the way, I'm no longer with Letterman Row. I've been trying to phase out for a while now. We'll see how far this takes me, but I still do a little bit of Tim May show every now and then and stuff. And that's what I really enjoy doing.
Tim, I'm going to switch up gears on you a little bit. I loved your tweet last night. Phi Slamabama gets it done as Alabama beats BYU last night in an offensive, fun game to watch, a record-breaking game for Alabama as they hit the most threes ever with 25 in an NCAA tournament game. How much fun did you have watching that game last night? Because I had a blast.
Here's the thing. There's something to be said for pattern offense and, get after your own defense. But people who I always called that about the Andretti, Mario Andretti and his son Michael, they drove the same way. They wanted to get to the front and stay there, forget about this pacing and all this kind of baloney. And like I told Mario one time, I said, that's really what people pay the money for, is to see a guy going for it, as opposed to Al Unser Sr. would lay back. He won 4 Indy 500s. There's nothing, record time 4 Indy 500s. It worked. But what people really want to see is somebody getting out there out front, and so that's what Alabama plays that style. Well, how far it'll take them remains to be seen, because there's some good teams, man, and most of them are from the Southeastern Conference in this tournament. And you got to, you have to admit that finally, right? But Duke's going to be in there slugging away, it does look like. But, yeah, it's fun to watch a team like Alabama with no inhibitions just going after it.
And it's always fun to have Tim on talking spring ball for Ohio State. They'll wrap things up April 12th with that spring. I guess now, Tim, you can call it a game because Ryan Day wants to do some hitting, bud. Thank you so much for the time. We'll check in this time next week.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's always been his plan, but, you don't want to oversell something, right?
That's true, especially when you're selling tickets.
5 guys get hurt on it.
All right, bud, enjoy the weekend.
You too, man. Enjoyed it.
And he comes to us courtesy of the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Duke was hot last night. It looks like they're hot at HBO. We'll get into that next. Thing or not a thing. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
I'm an old school Joe, and my philosophy is simple and effective. At the end of the day, it's not what you win or lose, it's what you save. And Bet and Reduce Juice at Prime Sports Ohio is the way to save money on every single bet. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at MasheterFord.net. Thanks.
Guys, it's Timmy Hall, and this is my favorite time of the year. You've got upsets, you've got buzzer beaters, you've got college basketball chaos, because when it comes to college hoops in March, one thing's for sure, and that's nothing's for sure. That's why you should bet the unexpected every upset every day with DraftKings Sportsbook. With live betting, exclusive content, promos, and parlays, DraftKings is the ultimate college basketball destination for March. First time, here's something. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. So bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code TheFan971. That's TheFan971 for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, Ohio only. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Hear that? That's the sound of saving a good deal more when you shop with M-Perks at Meijer. Some delicious blueberries, money saved. A creamy treat of cookie dough ice cream, that's money saved. Savings, savings, savings. Because every dollar spent is also 10 points earned in M-Perks, which you can use to save on your next grocery trip or up to $1 off per gallon on your next tank of gas. At Meijer, we work hard to help you save a good deal more for a whole lot less. That's bringing more good to life. Exclusions apply. See mperks.com for details.
Austin Ward here, fired up for warm weather, golf season, longer days, more time outside. Ride the momentum and finally drop the weight you keep saying you will. With Awaken 180, it's fast, easy, and we're all proof that it works. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Common Man and T-Bone are known for many things. And while great radio ain't one of them, shoving food down their gullets is their specialty. Join Man and Bone for Fat Boy Food Tip.
Live at 3 or on the podcast.
Your home for fat. The Fan.
Here, care is where you need it. With over 350 primary care providers in Central Ohio, Expert Care is minutes away. See how we care for all of you at mountcarmelforyou.com.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Rich is caught up in the madness, and he's passing it to you for a slam dunk of deals. He's got rates as low as 0%, leases starting from $249 a month. How about a 2025 Honda Prologue all-wheel drive Elite? Lease it for $297 a month for 36 months, 30,000 miles with only $19.99 down. And he's even throwing you an extra $1,000 for your trade. More than 500 new and pre-owned to choose from. See dealer for details at Germain Honda of Dublin.
Why are we quizzing kids on dinosaurs?
Comedian Sam Morrill, The Errors Tour.
Some cop pulls me over. He's like, what kind of dinosaur is it?
Live at Davidson Theater, April 10th.
I'm like, a Stegosaurus? He's like, step out of the vehicle.
Get tickets now at kappa.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Patriot Air Comfort Systems in Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Producers, co-hosts, friends, some of those things are true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Are either of you guys in on season 3 of White Lotus?
I am not.
Negative.
Do you know the show that I'm talking about, though? Do you know what it is, like the general premise around it?
I unfortunately do not. I think you already knew that, though.
I kind of had an idea about you. I didn't know maybe there was a chance about Cole. It's on Max, the artist formerly known as HBO. And if neither of you guys are in on season 3 of The White Lotus, then this story is going to make 0 sense.
1.
And so is that button push.
Oh, hey. Thing or not a thing?
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
Thing or not a thing, Reese trying to cut our time here.
So Duke University's not happy with the newest season of The White Lotus on HBO. One of the characters, Timothy Ratliff, talks about being a Duke alum. He's caught up in financial crimes with the FBI and contemplates suicide. Some of the scenes, he's wearing a Duke T-shirt. So it's a gray T-shirt with gigantic Duke in blue letters. The Ratliff family discusses Duke pretty frequently, and so he's doing financial crimes. He's not a great human being. He's also, Jason Isaac is the actor. He played Lucius Malfoy in the Harry Potter series. So just to kind of give you a picture of who this actor is. Duke's VP for communications, Frank Tramble, said in a statement, Duke University did not approve the use of its marks in The White Lotus. Duke appreciates artistic expression and creative storytelling, but characters prominently wearing apparel bearing Duke's federally registered trademarks creates confusion and mistakenly suggests an endorsement or affiliation where none exists. Trimble adds that the show, quote, not only uses our brand without permission, but in our view uses it on imagery that is troubling, does not reflect our values or who we are, and simply goes too far, end quote. Thing or not a thing?
So I feel like any publicity is good publicity, right? Like this should be nice for Duke that their brand is out there. I also understand there's probably things that they should do, right? Because there are things that are trademarked, so they should probably have asked permission and whatnot for this, but I mean, I feel like this is just Duke's way of trying to get some more money out of this with the publicity from the show and from HBO and whatnot. I do feel like if this was Ohio State, I feel like Ohio State would be all up in arms and trademark infringement and wanting to get their piece.
Yeah, so I didn't hear any part where Duke is suing Max for that. So I assume that the people over there would be up to speed on all the laws. And so if I assume that they didn't do anything illegal by portraying Duke. Now, I don't know, but and if they did, that's dumb of them to do so because they should be aware of those laws. So here is what I'm aware of White Lotus. So Kyle Hamilton, who's a safety for the Baltimore Ravens, he tweeted this recently. He goes, does anything ever happen in White Lotus, or do people just watch it just to say, hey, the next episode's going to be crazy?
Well, there are some instances it sure felt like that in all 3 seasons where, not a lot happens and you're kind of waiting for it. But when something does happen, it's pretty epic. And the characters are entertaining in their interactions, albeit sometimes slow moving. I would recommend it if you're looking for something to watch. I love the idea that it's on Sunday nights and you can kind of watch it Monday nights or Tuesday nights without it being spoiled, because it being a show that's available on streaming, nobody's really going to spoil it too much. I do think that HBO would know if they could use a trademark or not. And so I think when they have him just wear a Duke shirt and they kind of discuss Duke in the way they did, they would do it without worrying too much. And this statement from the university feels like the cease and desist. And so maybe with the season coming to an end here, I think in 2 episodes, you don't do it again. And I don't know what Duke... Man...
But hold on, this has already been filmed.
Yeah.
Like, what are they going to do? Just refilm it in a week?
So they can't, right. So it's done. So I don't know what Duke would do moving forward. At least my guess, if they were serious about it, they would say you can't air the episodes. But
I would think they could go back and edit stuff out, right?
Yeah,
they could edit the Duke away or
Sunday night,
whatever's on the shirt.
Sunday night around 9 o'clock, I guess we'll have to see if that, in fact, becomes just a gray T-shirt that he's wearing. By now, you've seen or heard the back and forth between LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith. In an interview with USA Today, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver acknowledged he's seen some of their back and forth on social media. Quote, I received several texts that said, are you watching this? We are a particular sport in which that kind of debate seems to be a part of this league. Adding, sometimes it seems that in other sports that I'm a fan of, and when I watch the coverage, particularly around the games, it seems to be more celebratory often than it is than the NBA. And I accept it. We're often the beneficiary too. There's seemingly as much social media interest in this league at times in all the other leagues combined, so it's a two-edged sword. Sometimes it's measured in column inches, and it's wonderful to see so much interest in our sport. At other times, I cringe a lot at the coverage. I sure wish it would never have become personal, end quote. Thing or not a thing?
Well, I think this is a thing for the NBA because of what we just talked about, right, Cole? Yeah. With any publicity is good publicity. And this is a lot of publicity right now. I mean, say what you want about Stephen A. Smith, but he has a huge platform and has been a huge part of the NBA coverage for a long time. And it doesn't get any bigger in the NBA than LeBron James. And, man, this sure just seemed to take a whole nother step with LeBron James going on McAfee and discussing this and discussing what had happened. And then Stephen A. going big time personal yesterday with his rebuttal to all of this. So I think this is a big thing for the NBA right now. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out.
Yeah, so I don't want to be a hypocrite because I use the term social media league in a derogatory fashion. I kind of bust them a little bit. I love NBA playoff basketball, but the regular season, there should not be a situation where you see the effort as different as it is. But anyway, so I make fun of them for being a social media league. That said, I am like so in on this Stephen A. LeBron stuff. I've watched the entire Pat McAfee interview, which was over an hour. I've watched all the Stephen A. response podcasts and all that stuff. So I've been really enjoying this. Adam Silver kind of seems concerned about it.
He should be.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily agree with the Baker one on the last one about all publicity being good publicity with Duke, and because we were talking about like a character contemplating suicide. That's not very good. This one, Stephen A. Smith versus LeBron James. I think this one is an example of all publicity being good publicity.
I just don't think it's going to make people tune into games more. Like, it's not going to give Adam Silver what he wants. It's going to, in fact, make it more of a social media league. I mean, you use it disparagingly. I think it is. If it's a league that's supposed to be around the contest and competition on the basketball court, and you're interested more in what a talking head's saying to one of the greatest players of all time, then the focus isn't on what's happening where you want it to be.
But that's been the problem, because
I agree.
The Jordan-LeBron debate was more interesting than anything that actually happened on a court.
I agree.
And they had the same debate for 7 straight years.
And I think it's just more of that, and I don't think that does the NBA good.
I will say this. You talk about people tuning in. I do think if there's a game that LeBron is in and we know Stephen A. Smith is going to be there, I do think people will tune in to try to see if there's anything that happens. More people than normally would.
I don't think so. I don't think that this draws any more eyeballs to an actual NBA game than they would had those two just... Then had LeBron, which, yes, the McAfee interview with LeBron's great. It goes over a bunch of different topics, and, like, LeBron's a fantastic interview. He does, like Adam Silver, they say a lot, and a lot of times it's a lot of nothing. But when he talks about Jordan and he talks about wanting to be 23 because of him, but not signing with Nike because of Jordan, signing with Nike because they gave him enough money to get his mom out of the hood, like that next day, it's really fascinating. And I wonder for Stephen A. if his overinflated ego says, why didn't he come on with me? And that's where this whole thing stems from. But for Stephen A. with the Kobe Bryant memorial thing, it's to my point yesterday. I'm sorry. That's all you got to say to the LeBron thing. Not, I didn't mean it that way. No, you meant exactly what you said, because you're smart enough to know when every single word comes out of your mouth, it's going to be heard and dissected. Stephen A., repeat after me. I'm sorry I brought that up.
Yeah, you're a writer. You know the shock value of a headline, right? You said what you said, and you said it for a reason.
Despite what I said yesterday about being the AV card of sports talk radio, I think we learned some stuff this week. We'll tell you next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
News, opinions, and insight, all before breakfast. Rise and shine with Morning Juice.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Are you sick of the Ohio winter weather like me? Well, spring camping is almost here, and deals are blooming at RCD RV. From March 15th to the 29th, take advantage of our spring savings event. Over 800 new and pre-owned RVs in stock. Let us help plan a springtime adventure for you. New travel trailers starting as low as $12,995. Campers for every single budget. Visit the locations, Delaware, Heath, and Pataskala, or shop online at rcdrv.com. Don't wait. RCD RV is your destination for springtime adventure.
Leases on approved credit. No security deposit required. Tax, tags, title, and dealer fees extra. Ends April 1st.
I'm Rick Reichert. If the calendar says March and there's basketball on TV, it can only mean one thing. Markdown madness at number 1, Reichert Ford. Reichert Ford has sold vehicles to every state in the nation. And we'll sell you one too. Lease new 2024 F-150S TX for just $399 a month for 36 months. 0 down. Plus you get Reichert Ford's exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty, because we're dealing. Saving money is a slam dunk at Reichert Ford. Lease new 2024 Bronco Sport for just $399 a month for 36 months. 0 down. Plus Reichert Ford's exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty. It's madness. Markdown madness at the number 1 largest volume Ford dealer in Ohio, Reichert Ford. At Route 33 and Hamilton Road, 2 minutes off 270, and at ReichertFord.com. We're dealing.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
Based on 2024 Ford report for total new retail sales. Cincinnati region. Leases on approved credit. No security deposit required. Tax, tags, title, and dealer fees extra. Ends April 1st.
Montana, Bettis, Horning, and Brown, some of the greatest of all time, kicked off their careers in South Bend. You can celebrate Notre Dame football's impact on the professional game by visiting the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton to experience Gold Helmet to Gold Jacket March 14th through April 27th. And register to win our grand prize at 971thefan.com/goldjacket. One winner will receive 2 tickets to the Hall of Fame game, enshrinement ceremony, and the Hall of Fame Museum. That's 971thefan.com/goldjacket.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-324-VEIN. That's 614-324-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. All tournament long, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app. Sign up with the promo code Radio100 to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The NCAA tournament continues tonight with regional semifinals in the Midwest and in the South. Ole Miss and Michigan State are up first at 7:09. Winner gets Michigan or Auburn in the Elite Eight. Wolverines and Tigers play Friday night at 9:39. In the Midwest region at 7:39, Tennessee battles Kentucky. That winner gets either Houston or Purdue on Sunday. In other news, Junie Mobley says he's returning to Ohio State next season. The transfer portal's open through April 22nd. In the NHL, the Blue Jackets enter the weekend 2 points back of the Canadiens for the final wildcard spot in the East. Jackets will host Vancouver tonight at 7. You can hear that one on the Fan with coverage at 6:30. Cole Sillinger returns to the ice for the Blue Jackets. Elvis Merzlikins gets the nod in net. Jackets are in Ottawa on Saturday. This update sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Enjoy rates as low as 9.90% APR with a Visa Platinum credit card. Apply at bmifcu.org/Visa. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
Yes, it is. You heard from the sports anchor 10 seconds ago that the Jackets hosting the Canucks tonight, 2 points out of that second wild card spot in the East. You'll have the Ottawa Senators coming up on Saturday. We'll have Jody Shelley on at 11:30 to get his thoughts on. He scouted the Canucks earlier this week when they played the New Jersey Devils. For the Columbus Blue Jackets, for having not played a game since Monday, when you beat the Islanders, you have had everything go right for you in terms of points between teams that you're jockeying position with for that final wild card spot. So now as you return Cole Sillinger to the lineup, as you get healthier, now you must take advantage of the gifts that have been given off the ice on the ice. It's so important for these next 2 games. They're not must-wins. I think they've got 11 more games after tonight's contest, but it is a back-to-back, the first of 2 games. You have to get points. It's a must-get points.
And we talked about it yesterday. I think it was Mark Scheig of the Hockey Writers that had the tweet that the Canadians, who own the last wild card spot, are on pace for 89 points. For the Jackets to get there, they need 8 wins, which would be 16 points in their last 12 games. So not must wins, but definitely need to accrue points this weekend. And it would be nice to get back-to-back wins.
Must
here.
go fast. Must get points. You had opening day in baseball yesterday. The Guardians beat the Royals 7-4 in extra innings. The Reds fall to the San Francisco Giants in Cincinnati 6-4. Both teams off today. They're back in action, both of them tomorrow at 4:10. So you'll have Game 2, the Guardians and Royals in Kansas City, and then Game 2, the Reds and the Giants. That'll take place in Ohio's Queen City. It's been quite a busy week. Let's try to figure out if we maybe learned something.
We're not trying to do too much around here, but over the course of 5 days, you might have gleaned some stuff. Bishop and Friends present What We've Learned This Week.
And I'm not sure, as I think about it, if this is something we learned, but this might have been something more that was confirmed this week, that Ohio State can develop almost anybody to be ready for the NFL. Now, what they do once they get to the National Football League, obviously, throughout history has shown to be up to them or to other situations. But when they say developed here, you saw 17 guys that were ready to go this past Wednesday at Ohio State's Pro Day, including Will Howard, who I think made a bunch of people, if not everybody, forget that performance in Indianapolis at the Scouting Combine, but also made himself a bunch of money in front of, 6 general managers and 5 NFL head coaches, all who could be looking at a quarterback in the second to third round.
And, Will, it seemed like he crushed it. As many bad reviews as he got from his combine workout, his pro day workout was that much better. And by the way, Reese, you say 17 guys. It was actually 18 guys because we had Mayan Williams out there as well. He didn't get to participate in those things last year.
That's right, because of his knee injury.
Because of a knee injury. He signed on with the CFL team. He's looking to get back in front of NFL scouts and maybe have a shot at an NFL career here now that he's healthy. So he was out there working out as well. Kind of interesting, almost a blast from the past there with Mayan at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center.
You've got the CFL preseason starting in May. I think the first weekend in June is when they get the season going. I think he signed with the Toronto Argonauts. You also have the UFL returns to your lives this weekend. So if you're looking for if you've got absolutely nothing to do, that could be on your schedule. But you have so much to do. And again, not a thing we learned, but something that was confirmed is that Blue Bloods later in the basketball tournament, the big dance, the NCAA tournament, make for quality television, make for quality programming. Last night with Alabama and BYU, 25 three-pointers made, an NCAA tournament record. Duke putting 100 points on Arizona. Cooper Flagg having the performance he did, 30 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 blocks all over the place, likely solidifying himself as the number 1 overall pick. You've got 4 games tonight to wrap up the Sweet 16. Auburn and Michigan, likely be a banger. Ole Miss, Michigan State, absolutely. Houston, Purdue, Kentucky, and Tennessee. This makes this part of March magical when you have those kinds of brands that everybody wants to put their eyeballs on.
That Ole Miss Michigan State game may actually be a banger as far as the physicality in that game. Along with those Blue Bloods there, though, Reese, I think offense, right? Offense is not dead in basketball. It is alive and well. 113 points from Alabama last night, 100 from Duke. 162 points from the Indiana Pacers last night. A Indiana Pacers team record. And how about the end of that Bulls-Lakers game? Just insane.
I forgot Josh Giddey was still in the league.
I've actually seen his name a couple times this year with some guys that you may follow doing some betting activities that they've
he's
used
being investigated?
No,
okay.
that they've said, hey, bet on Josh Giddey's over here. So he's actually having a decent season for the Bulls. But the offense, I feel like, in March Madness has been so good this year. In the NBA, obviously, there is no shortage of offense as well. It is alive and well, as good as it's ever been in basketball.
And I think when you talk about offense in college hoops being alive and well, I think Cinderella is still alive. I think Cinderella just took this year off. We had talked about a piece by Ross Dellinger from Yahoo that had SEC Big Ten decision makers as well as Group of 5 and FCS decision makers, and lamenting the idea that come July 1st, when you've got to share your revenue, teams in the Power 4, Big Ten, SEC, are going to put so much more money towards football that there's not going to be as much they can allocate towards basketball as, say, a Villanova, as, say, a St. John's. And to Villanova, the rumors have been out there since before the big dance began that Kevin Willard was going to leave Maryland and take that job. And Kevin Willard's been on record multiple times saying that Maryland just hasn't done a good enough job in matching name, image, and likeness for the basketball program as some places like Villanova. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that job. Also, we learned that Sean Miller back to Texas, or back into the Power Four. He takes the Texas job, leaves Xavier for the second time. I'm looking right here at Josh Giddey last night against the Los Angeles Lakers. He had 25 points, 11 assists, 14 rebounds. On the season, he's averaging 14 a game, 7 rebounds, 8 assists.
It's pretty decent.
Yeah. The Cavaliers, if you're wondering, magic number is 6 for Cleveland to clinch the top spot in the Eastern Conference. They beat the San Antonio Spurs last night. Cavs are at the Pistons tonight at 7 o'clock. It feels more like when. So in 6 games for the Cavs, now that they've kind of gotten over that 4-game slump, that there wasn't panic, but there was concern. Now you see for the Cavaliers that number 1 spot is likely when they will clinch, just 6 games away for that. For the Blue Jackets, they're not dead yet. We had mentioned the help that they've gotten this week in terms of points in the standings. Vancouver's that challenge tonight. Elvis Merzlikins draws in the net. Cole Sillinger back in the lineup. You're getting healthy. Now you got to take advantage of every opportunity given to you that other teams have provided you.
So the Jackets haven't played since Monday, Reese. And I don't know if a team has had a better stretch of days that they haven't played than the Blue Jackets have. Right. The Senators lost on Tuesday. Let me see here. The Hurricanes lost. The Canadiens lost. Everybody they needed to lose. The Red Wings lost. Rangers lost that night. Then we go over to Wednesday. The Islanders lose to the Canucks. That's great for you. Then we go to last night. Everybody you needed to lose lost. The Red Wings lost. The Canadiens lose. Everybody you needed to lose that was around you lost. And not only did they lose, Reese, they lost in regulation. So there was no 3-point game. So the Jackets haven't played since Monday, but they haven't lost no position in the standings or points to any team. That is huge.
The transfer portal in college hoops has been open since Monday. The basketball Buckeyes have lost, but the basketball Buckeyes this week have also gained. We'll discuss the week that Jake Diebler had, and similarly for Kevin McGuff. That's next. It's Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Spring forward, Columbus, with the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling Services. We're here to thaw you out with this limited time offer. Get up to $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer is too good to pass up. The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling now together to serve you better with $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer won't last. Call us today, 614-232-2222. That's 614-232-2222.
Scott the Scots here. How did the grass feel when it woke up from winter? A little crabby. Get it? Crabgrass? Right now, there's a short window of time to apply Scott's Turf Builder Halt's Crabgrass Preventer. It stops crabgrass before it invades and feeds your lawn for a fast green up after winter. Act now to prevent your grass from waking up crabby this spring. That joke never gets old. But trust me, crabgrass does.
Get a bag of Scott's Turf Builder Halt's Crabgrass Preventer with lawn food today.
Feed your lawn. Feed it.
It's March, and you know what that means. Bracket season. You've crunched the numbers, picked your favorites, and maybe even taken a big gamble on that Cinderella team. But when it comes to your home, gambling is not an option. Spring storms are rolling in, bringing strong winds, heavy rain, and unpredictable weather. The question is your roof ready? At Newman Roofing, we don't leave anything up to chance. Whether you need a new roof, gutter replacement, or updated siding, our expert team is here to educate you, guide you, and give you the best options to fit your home's needs. No high-pressure sales, no surprises, just top-quality work from a team you can trust. That's why homeowners choose Newman Roofing, the #1 overall seed here in Columbus, because we deliver an unbeatable customer experience every single time. So, don't wait until the damage is done. Beat the storm before it ruins your big dance. Call 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com to schedule your spot this spring. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford.
Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at MasterFord.net. Thanks.
Hey, Ohio, Prime Sports has arrived, the only book where you can lay 108 instead of 110 on all your favorite teams. Football, baseball, basketball, and hockey. Why would you risk more to win the same amount at another sports book? Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The tournament is underway. Is your bracket a big pile of trash like mine? Big Voice Guy took it on the chin this year. Anyway, check your standings in the Fan and 10 TV Bracket Challenge.
Sponsored by Mountain Dew, Ohio Bottled Buckeye Bowl.
The most accurate bracket, not mine, will take home $1,000. Check your progress at 971thefan.com. Wasting time has never been more fun. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Do you want a job that is flexible, secure, and fun? It also offers excellent pay and is ranked as one of the best jobs in America, too. I'm talking about being a dental hygienist. And all you have to do is complete a 2-year program after high school. Visit ODA.org to learn more and to start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
This is Pause Before You Play, and it's time for more game day picks from local sports fans. You're on the air. Who you got?
Actually, I'm not betting, just chilling and watching the game.
I know that move, a pause. Sounds like you've got a winning strategy.
Exactly. After I set limits and recognized the risk, I knew it was time to stop.
Now that is responsible betting, folks. Sports are fast. Betting shouldn't be. Make a plan at pausebeforeyouplay.org. That's pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We're looking at rain chances that will be increasing throughout the morning around central Ohio. Scattered showers, possibly some thunder activity expected through most of the day today. High temperatures will make their way into the 70s this afternoon. We dry out this evening into tonight. Temperature down to around 60. Mostly dry 70s on Saturday. Severe storms on Sunday. Stay weather aware. That's your latest 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. Find us on YouTube. Search WBNS Radio and you can see what Bo looks like. But only if you subscribe. This is Bishop and Friends.
We usually blitz the weekend on Monday, and the first thing is I believe I had that. And Baker, you had this yesterday that Meechie Johnson would likely enter the transfer portal again. Well, that's just been made official by Meechie Johnson, who has announced that for the second time in his collegiate career, he's going to find other place to play his likely final season, meaning he'd probably have to apply for a mental health waiver. He only appeared in 10 games for the Buckeyes, so that's the threshold that you had to play for, that now you can still be eligible pending the NCAA approves the waiver. And in instances like this, actually in all instances of waivers, the NCAA likely not to put up a challenge for Meechie. So it does leave a spot for Ohio State to fill in the roster for 2025. And, you know, Meechie had the interview with Adam Jardy. If you haven't read that, it's up at the Dispatch. Jardy does a phenomenal job talking to Meechie just about everything that he was going through this last season, you know, in November and December, where he even said that Meechie did not look like the Meechie that you saw in 2 seasons at South Carolina. And Meechie even saying that it was mental health issues forced him to take a leave of absence and then to stay away from the team for as long as he did, just not finding happiness in basketball. And sports serves as a great escape for many of us. And for Meechie, I hope that he's gotten the help that he needs, and I hope that he finds the happiness somewhere.
It just doesn't seem like Ohio State is the place for him. And we talked yesterday. I thought maybe the one thing that might keep Michie here was the chance to play with his cousin, Marcus, if Marcus reclassifies to the 2025 class and comes to Ohio State early. If you remember, just like Michie did. Michie did that back during the COVID season. He reclassified early and he came to Ohio State. But for whatever reason, unfortunately, it has not worked out for Michie Johnson in his 2 stints here at Ohio State. So he will be off to play his final season elsewhere. And again, this isn't about basketball or anything. You just hope that whatever is going on with this young man, he has gotten the help that he needs, continues to get that help. So forget basketball. He leads a healthy, happy, productive life.
And he was able to continue work towards his degree. That was also something that he told Adam Jardy in the winter.
Which was good to hear.
It was great because this is so much more than the game of basketball. This is about a young person trying to find their way in a world, and life's hard, man. And whatever you can do, whatever you need to do to to find happiness that you can't in a game you probably loved at one point. I'm hoping he finds that love for it again. If maybe during the sabbatical that he took, he found some love in being on the hardwood again. But that was something he had mentioned that, in the games with Ohio State and back in November and December, there just was no enjoyment of the process. There was no enjoyment being out on the court. And if that inhibited him from being able to live a productive life and something meaningful, then I think he did the best thing, and I commend him for being as open as he was to Jardy, and I hope the best for him. For this Ohio State team, that's a roster spot you got to fill. Now, the Buckeyes plucked Gabe Cupps out of the portal for Mr. Basketball in the Buckeye State back in 2022 as a guard that could fit along nicely, either off the bench or, Junie Mobley says he's coming back. You're still waiting to hear from Bruce Thornton. But Gabe Cupps, provided he's healthy, I think a knee injury took him away from the Hoosiers over the past 2 seasons. And I think so if he is able to apply for a medical waiver, I think he's got 3 seasons of eligibility left. Cupps does. So it kind of finalizes your backcourt a little bit there. For your front court, still got to get a big. Owen Freeman was my A1 absolute if you can land this guy, but I asked for a Power Rangers Megazord for Christmas for how many years, because that was the one thing I'd always wanted and I never got it. Like sometimes Santa just doesn't put that under the Christmas tree. Didn't think it was a legitimate. There was Ohio State, whenever they're in on a player, is always going to be legitimate, but for a guy, even San Diego State's Magoon Guath, it'd be nice, but you weren't thinking there was a real chance. But Freeman goes to Creighton. I think we're still waiting on Guath.
And there are some bigs out there that Ohio State has been in contact with or has reached out to or has set up some visits for them to come see the school. We know Dalen Swain, the Afrocentric product.
That was my 2.
He is on his way to Ohio State this weekend.
Good.
For an official visit. Our friends at 11 Warriors have compiled a list of guys that Ohio State has at least reached out to. Christoph Tilley from Santa Clara. He's a senior with another year of eligibility left. A 7-footer, 240 pounds, averaged 12.2 points per game last year.
From Germany?
4.8 rebounds as well. I do not see on there.
Gotta get a German
if
kid.
That's where he is at. But 61.2%. Even hits the 3 a little bit. 32.7 from there. Nick Davidson. You've heard a lot about him. The kid from Nevada. He's a redshirt senior. Will be a redshirt senior. 6'10", 238 pounds. A little more production from him with 15.8 points a game and 6.5 rebounds. And he also shoots the 3 a little better, 37.4% from there. So a big that could stretch the floor a little bit. And then Lathan Somerville, another one from Rutgers, who will be heading into his sophomore year, 6'10", 275 pounds for the Scarlet Knights last year, 8.2 points per game and 4.1 rebounds. So there are bigs out there that Ohio State has least been in contact with. And they have a whole list of other guys here. A lot of wing players. I think it'd be hard to see Ohio State bringing in another guard, at least
no more guards.
At least a guard 6'2" or smaller. Now a Jonathan Powell, who was Gabe Cupps' teammate at Centerville from West Virginia.
Yeah.
6'4", so he's a little bigger. You could put him out on the wing. But the 11 Warriors did a great job with finding some of these guys that Ohio State has at least reached out to.
And it's funny to me when you talk about Christoph Tilley, who is from Berlin. 11 Warriors in their write-up says Tilley reportedly has a Zoom call with the Buckeyes on Wednesday, which is an official visit or a visit even at all, but just funny to see that about, your college choice. Hope he doesn't make it based off of the Zoom call. Maybe get him to Columbus. I think that's when you're able to at least be in front face-to-face. Like, I was a terrible student growing up, but I could never ever do online classes. Like, I was always so bad at them because I wasn't paying attention. And even with like telehealth, I had a therapist for a long time, and during the pandemic, you had to go virtually, and I could never concentrate. I could never focus when it's a Zoom call like that because there's just stuff going on around you. I don't know how many times I'd be doing whatever it was, and Odie would be barking. And even like work stuff here. Like I've just got to mute my microphone the entire time if I'm at home.
Always distracted.
Yeah, always distractions. I'm distracted very easily, as I'm sure if you've listened to me on the radio enough.
One name that 11 Warriors has been on even before the transfer portal opened is Colby Duggan of Campbell. He's a wing, 6'7", 220 pounds. I've seen 11 Warriors float his name out quite a bit with Ohio State. Averaged 16.4 points a game last year, shoots 35% from three. He's one. It'll be interesting to see if Dalen Swain and him are redundant, and Ohio State doesn't want to go after both if they want one more than the other, or if they think there's a spot for both of them on the wing. I would think that there is. Ohio State obviously has at least 3 roster spots here to fill with Mahaffey leaving and Austin Parks and now Michi. So it's going to be interesting to see how they construct this roster, especially with all the guards they have right now with Cupps and Mobley and hopefully Thornton and Tayson Chapman returning. So you'd think wings and big are where they're going to focus now.
For Kevin McGuff, kind of a similar wish list, wings and a big. And with McGuff's side of it, I think you need a lot of you need someone with experience. Like you need an older player that can help out with your younger players on the floor. They lost Cody McMahon to the portal earlier this week. Faith Carson also goes portaling. So there you lose size, you lose experience, you lose a lot of scoring. Like Cody was your alpha. But I think the not issue with Cody was, but the idea was that she wasn't the kind of leader you needed on the court when you have so much young talent like this team does. So to Chris Holtman's point that he would always make is old wins in college basketball. And I think Kevin McGuff, if that's the direction that he should go in for the portal, but you've got to get size. That's the biggest thing. With our brackets, so we did individual brackets, and then we did a BFS bracket. The Bishop and Friends bracket of all of the fan and 10 TV talent is the last place bracket.
Gone Colorado State. Why couldn't you have gotten us another game?
I don't know how many people filled out our 10 TV 97.1 The Fan bracket challenge, but the Bishop and Friends bracket is ranked 2,313th. Of the show personalities to do brackets, mine is 1,130th. Not great. I can't see yours on this. Bo filled out 2 of them.
Shame.
And he's right now in 255th place. But leading all fan and 10 TV personalities, as I will dub him now from here on out, 97.1 The Fan, bracket basketball expert, Panama Ted.
Oh.
Ted's 58th.
I don't know why I thought you were going to say Cole for some reason.
I don't even think mine's on there.
Yeah, I don't know if Cole's reached it to this. Like, also, Skip's got 2 brackets.
So Panama Ted has passed Jacob Reimer.
Yeah. Reimer's 203rd. T-Bone is 176th. Ron Stokes, 224. Jen Winters, 231. Old Dami up there at 244. And then Bo's first bracket, 255. His second bracket, 418. Okay. I gave AR so much grief over the years for doing 2 brackets, but it looks like Rothman's got 1. His bracket is 603rd. But again, all hail our bracketologist, Panama Ted.
So I see here that I have 52 points, whatever that means, but I don't know where that puts me in the fan challenge. I guess
that would put you right around me because you and I'm 1130, you're 1193 in terms of rankings.
So we're not doing great here.
No, but did you expect to?
No,
I didn't either. I'm terrible at this. The only time I've won a bracket challenge was I won the bracket pool with my family. There were 6 of us, and it was when Carmelo Anthony won the national championship with Syracuse. And I picked Syracuse because they were the Orangemen, and I thought that was funny.
I did one.
That's how you do it, folks.
Where I wanted to work in the same bracket, finished like second in another one, the best I've ever did. And it was a year that West Virginia made it really far, and I had West Virginia going to the Final Four that year, and I can't remember who won it, but whoever won the tournament that year, I had them winning it, so that's the best I've ever done.
We'll have to ask Bo on Monday. His brackets are named Bo Knows and then Bishop Boys. So maybe he did one himself, and then he had the boys pick one.
That's what I was kind of thinking. Okay. Because when I saw the Bishop Boys one first, I thought maybe that was our show bracket.
No. I couldn't figure out a good, fun nickname, so ours is just Bishop and Friends bracket. But Bo back on Monday, and we'll hold him accountable then. We will bring Jody Shelley on coming up in 2 minutes to do a little bit of Shelley time in advance of the Jackets and the Canucks tonight at Nationwide. It's Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever. That's 4 lines on unlimited welcome for just $25 a line per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. You'll also get the new iPhone 16 Pro, 4 of them for the entire family when you trade in up to 4 phones from our top brands. That's a new phone for everyone, only on the network you can count on. Verizon. Visit a store today. 20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply for phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Hey guys, it's Timmy Hall, and it is my time of year. And when it comes to college basketball in March, one thing is for sure, nothing's for sure. Upsets, buzzer beaters, Cinderella's advancing, top seeds going home early. It's all going to happen, so bet the unexpected. Every upset every day with DraftKings Sportsbook. Live betting, exclusive content, promos, and parlays. DraftKings is the ultimate college basketball destination in March. First time, here's something special. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code TheFan971. That's code TheFan971 for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, Ohio only. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution specialists.
The Gloves. Shelley time.
Sponsored by Visit Central Florida. Discover the real Florida magic at visitcentralflorida.com.
Jackets and Canucks tonight at 7 o'clock. Puck will drop at Nationwide then. We'll have pregame coverage on the Fan at 6:30. We go out now to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline and bring on Jody Shelley for a little CBJ Vancouver preview. And Jody, I know you were scouting the Canucks earlier this week, but before we get to tonight's matchup, something that kind of percolated last weekend was the idea of the NHL expanding into the Houston and Atlanta markets. Now it'd be like the third time for the NHL in Atlanta. What do you think about the expansion, and can Atlanta really do the NHL?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, they're not going to let it fail if it goes there. And if they decide that that's the market they choose, it'll be a lot different than it was before. You know, it'll be in a different area. The arena was downtown before. And it sounds like there's a lot of excitement and encouragement about that. And these markets, like Houston, they want to get a team. And, you know, so the NHL is now in Salt Lake City, Utah, if you would have told me that 3 years ago, I don't know if I would have, I don't know how much I would have believed it. But it's the league is looking at any opportunity, and there would be some exciting markets for it to be in. But yeah, I think it would. I mean, they'll do their due diligence, and they're not going to put it anywhere where they get in a situation like Phoenix and Glendale, Arizona, where it didn't work.
Jody, of the cities that don't currently have an NHL team, what's one that you would like to see in the next 10 years?
Well, I mean, I like the Houston idea. Hockey is in L.A., it's in Florida and thriving. It's all over California, actually. I think Houston is not a bad place. Dallas has a great team and a good situation there. You look at some sports markets. I think that's a great one. Quebec City in Canada wants one, but I think they're too small. They wouldn't want to hear that. I mean, they've been pushing for a team for a long time. But those are two markets that would intrigue me. Hockey is in LA.
Jody, last game the Jackets get Sean Monahan and Eric Goodbranson back. Tonight, Cole Sillinger returns to the lineup. That means James Van Riemsdyk comes out. You've talked about this before with the tough decisions and how that's a good thing for a team. Number one, how nice is it for this team to get Cole back tonight on the wing? And two, it had to be really tough for Dean to take JVR out of the lineup.
Well, you know what? He makes decisions to put himself in the best situation to win. And unfortunately for JVR, I mean, he's been a great Blue Jacket so far. And I think he's so versatile and he can play anywhere in the lineup. But Dean Evason sees Zach Aston-Reese going down from that checking line. He's putting Sillinger on the wing there. So now you have a little more beefed up fourth line, a little more straight ahead, I guess, or impact line as far as hitting. I think James is an asset on the power play. He makes other players better. So, yeah, that would be a tough decision. And I'm sure James isn't happy about it. But, the Blue Jackets now with a healthy forward group, this is the reality of it. They have 5 lines. They have 5 lines practicing. I've been on teams with that. And you don't want to be on that 5th line, that line that's rotating out and just kind of feeling a little bit outside in practice. And they got a lot of bodies out there right now, but that's a good problem. And that leaves it up to Dean to make sure he's got the best lineup in every night to succeed. And that's the decision tonight. Let's see if they have success. They have a game tomorrow in Ottawa, so you're going to see maybe some resting some players or players not up to par or not on their A game. They're going to come out and guys that are rested and motivated are going to come in.
The 5th line, usually a good thing in Nationwide, just not during practice.
Not on the ice.
Yes, not on the ice at all. Speaking with Jody Shelley on the Brian Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Jody, we talked to you on Monday. The Jackets haven't played since then, and they didn't lose any ground in the standings for the wild card. Could this week in between games have been any better for this CBJ team?
Absolutely not. They got rest, they got practice, they got healthy, and nothing changed as far as the standings. And that's been the story. This is why everybody's in the race. Nobody is grabbing this at all with consistency. And if you look at the West, St. Louis is on a 7-game tear. And since the break, they have, I think, 1 loss and 1 overtime loss, maybe 2 losses and 1 overtime loss in 15 games. That's the surge that separated them and put them back in the playoff position, and that's what the Vancouver Canucks are looking up at right now. So, and Vancouver was 9 points ahead of them going into the break. Now there's, I think, 5 or 6 behind them. You think about that swing. And that's what's going to happen when you find consistency and you find your game. And there's a lot of energy that comes back from 2 things: getting your players back and getting healthy. I'll put 3 things. And then getting a win. That's huge for this team. They found it. They got it the other night in Long Island. Then they had to wait, hoping not to be 4, maybe 5 points below the team in front of them. It didn't happen. So now they're excited that those 3 things: healthy, got the win and broke that losing streak, and now look at the standings and say, hey, our opportunity is right now. And one of the teams that's well ahead of them now is Ottawa, who they're going to face tomorrow night. So a huge 2 nights here for the Columbus Blue Jackets, starting tonight at home against the Canucks.
Yeah, and Vancouver also, fighting for their playoff lives, like you mentioned. What do you expect as you saw these Canucks earlier this week? What do you expect from this Vancouver team coming into town tonight?
A very defensive team. Thatcher Demko, their goaltender, has been out for most of the year with injury. Lankinen has done a heck of a job holding down the fort, but he looks like he's gotten a little bit tired. And Demko, the other night I saw him in New Jersey, he stole the game along with Quinn Hughes. Now, Quinn Hughes is a reigning Norris Trophy winner, the best defenseman in the National Hockey League, and he was the best player on the ice because the New Jersey Devils, they couldn't stop him. And you watch him tonight, he's a little bit like Zach Werenski, and he's got an offensive ability with the puck where when he is in the offensive zone, he has the puck. He controls the play all the time. I think he gets more offensive zone minutes than Zach. What I mean by that is offensive zone faceoffs out there with the top line more of the Vancouver Canucks, where Zach, sometimes at home, his duty is playing with the third line and check against the top players of the other line, which is a different mindset. So these two defensemen, Werenski and Hughes, this is the matchup tonight, head-to-head. Two guys that are up for the award of that Hughes won last year as the top defenseman in the league. So I expect it to be a fun night at Nationwide Arena with these two guys going head-to-head, these two young defensemen.
Jody Sean Monahan, we talked about him. He returned Monday night to the lineup, right back into the deep end, almost 19 minutes, 2 assists on the night, was in the face-off circle, took 24 face-offs. We were wondering maybe they would ease him that back into that with a wrist injury, but not at all. Just how important was that for that win the other night, having Monahan back on that top line?
Yeah, there's no easing anybody in the National Hockey League. I mean, if your number is called and you're on the ice, you're in it, especially this time of year. So, he was a little bit worried about how everything was going to go for him that night and taking all those faceoffs, but he got through it, and it's just great to have him back. The way the lines are slotted now, the way the centermen are slotted, how he's back with Marchenko and Voronkov. It's a boost to the locker room because he's such a good veteran player, and it's a huge asset. And I think the appreciation for Sean Monahan, sometimes, we talked about him a lot when he was in the lineup, and then you take him out, and Fantilli holds it down for a bit. But there are some intangibles and some little wise plays for a guy who's been around a while that he does defensively and offensively. And it was missed here for this team. So I think it calms a lot of stuff down, and I think it helps everybody on the ice. So, guys like Werenski, guys like Marchenko, you're going to see these guys pop now at another level with Monahan back, and everyone else slotted where they should be.
Friday night, it's going to be a raucous crowd tonight at Nationwide. The Vancouver Canucks we mentioned 2 huge points on the line for this team. Who's your pick to click this evening?
Well, I'm going to go with Werenski. I think there's tonight with Hughes, very offensive-minded defenseman for the Vancouver Canucks, and Werenski, who skates with Hughes. Hughes was at the University of Michigan, too. He's got 2 brothers that are superstars in the league. He is the key to their team, and he just puts on a show every time he's on the ice. I want to see Zach Werenski match it. I think this is going to be a lot of razzle-dazzle out there by these two guys, or at least I hope it is. At Nationwide. So Zach is my pick here to have a large night.
All right, Jody, we look forward to the call tonight, 7 o'clock, fan pregame coverage at 6:30. Safe travels to Ottawa, and we'll catch up with you next week before the Jackets take on the Predators. All right, bud?
Awesome. Have a good weekend. Thanks, guys.
You too, Jody. Joins us courtesy of the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. We'll do 3 things and some kind of important Jackets news in the past couple of minutes. This is a bad job out of me because it broke earlier in the show, but I just didn't see it until now. It's next. Bishop and Friends on the Fan.
Are you concerned with AMD? Now, protecting your eyes is easier thanks to New Nordic's Blueberry Eye Supplements. Available now at Amazon.com or NewNordicUSA.com.
This Ohio State football spring practice report is brought to you locally on the Fan by Roosters and by your Ohio Kubota dealers.
Ohio State football spring practice report.
New Buckeye offensive line coach Tyler Bowen will bring a nice comfortability to new Ohio State offensive coordinator Brian Hartline, OSU head coach Ryan Day.
Brian will be a first-time play caller for us.
and wanted to make sure that we had somebody in the room in the run game that had coordinator experience. I think Tyler, when you look at, his past and his background, it's pretty diverse in terms of, he's coached the O-line, he's coached the tight ends, he's obviously been a part of the run game coordinator. And that's anytime you're in that, you're coaching the O-line because there's more offensive linemen on the field than any other position. And so he played the position. He's a very, very good coach. He understands it. Even in a short period of time, you can ask our offensive lineman, he's on it.
It will certainly be a new blend of dynamics on the offensive staff. This report was brought to you by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center and by Weber Grills. I'm Matt Andrews on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Imagine a tailgate. The heat of the flame, the sizzle of the burger, the squeeze of the ketchup. Grilling is essential to tailgating as the game itself. Weber Grills are there in the hours, minutes, and even seconds before kickoff. Before the best damn band in the land plays the battle cry, signaling it's time to take the field. Weber is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. This season, Weber created an officially licensed limited edition Ohio State grill inspired by the iconic Buckeye helmets. Find the best damn grill in the land at local Ohio retailers.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Cover more ground with the fast, durable Kubota Sidekick, featuring a gas-powered engine that delivers a top speed of 40 miles per hour, best-in-class acceleration and handling with cargo, and the strength to haul what needs hauling. All backed by a 2-year, 1,000-hour warranty. Get more done right with the Kubota Sidekick. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit BuckeyeKubotaDealers.com to find a dealer near you.
Hey Kroger shoppers, get ready for Customer Appreciation Week happening March 26th through April 1st. We've packed 7 days with amazing deals. And if you're a Boost member, you can save even more. Get excited and get ready to save. Thanks for being such an awesome customer. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Customers can save big on Kroger brand pasta and Kroger brand broth. Select varieties are only 99 cents each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
At Diamonds Direct, we believe luxury is an experience and not a price tag. Luxury is expert guidance. It's the selection of 10 jewelry stores under one roof. It's saving time on endless comparison shopping, and you'll only find this experience at Diamonds Direct. Our luxury showroom has it all backed by our lifetime warranties and our signature best price guarantee. Diamonds Direct is the perfect combination of luxury and value, so you don't ever have to compromise. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The best hair on the air. You are listening to Bishop and Friends.
In case you're just joining us, Meechie Johnson, Ohio State guard, has entered the transfer portal. It's his second time in his collegiate career. He was away from the basketball team since December. In an interview with Adam Jarrett, he cited mental health as the reason for being away from the basketball program. So best of luck to Meechie as he finds another place for his final year of eligibility. Hope he's gotten the help that he needs, and hopes he finds the happiness that he's looking for. This from Aaron Portzline earlier this morning. So this came about right before 10 o'clock. Nothing official, but told the Jackets Caden Lindstrom, the 4th overall pick last June, is likely headed to Michigan State to play next fall. Aaron adds, many locals hoped Lindstrom would stay close and attend Ohio State, but other schools made earlier and stronger recruitment pushes.
And if you remember, this was probably about a month and a half ago, somewhere in there, when Aaron had the article that, hey, with NIL opportunities, maybe Caden Lindstrom wouldn't go the route of Canadian junior hockey, where we thought he would end up this year if he ever got healthy enough to go back to his junior team. And, well, maybe with NIL now he can go to Ohio State and be close here, and they can make sure. And one of the things was with his back was it could be around the best doctors and the best care and all of that, because the sports science for a Canadian junior team isn't like what Ohio State's hockey team has with the Ohio State and all of their resources. So a lot of people were kind of excited about that. He'd be close to here, could stay close with the team. But it looks like Michigan State, and listen, Michigan State is a great hockey program. He'll get all the training, all the resources up there as well. Just won't be as close to home.
The Michigan State men's basketball team is first tonight in the Sweet 16. They've got Ole Miss at 7 o'clock. That'll be played in Atlanta. That's a semifinal in the South region. You've got a semifinal in the Midwest region between Kentucky and Tennessee at 7:30. And then in the South, Michigan and Auburn. That's at 9:30 at 10 o'clock tonight. Purdue and Houston. The Michigan State-Ole Miss game and the Michigan-Auburn game can be found over on 10 TV.
And Reese, by the way, just speaking of the NCAA tournament, we were talking about our bracket challenge. 2,366 brackets have been entered in our bracket challenge. Upsets by Shelby is in last place with 7 points. I just scrolled through the whole leaderboard to get there.
Okay. Our daily fan poll, sponsored by Caster Connection, asks, you've got a $5 bet worth $168,000 dependent on Duke winning the NCAA tournament. The Blue Devils are in the Elite Eight. What do you do? Your options are let it ride, cash out at $50,000, or wait another week. 65% of you say you would cash it out at $50K. I'm with you there. I'm cashing it out. It's $5. I got $50,000. I'm good.
Be tough not to. I think I might let it ride another week, or maybe I'm Scotty Vegas and I try to find some way to hedge in there where I bet Alabama in the points, but Duke to still win. So you hope for a close game where you can win two different ways.
25% of you say let it ride, and then 10% of respondents to the Daily Fan Poll, sponsored by Caster Connection, say they're going to wait another week. Boy, I would be if.
That's a heck of an investment,
you
right?
You only spent $5, so I guess I'd be kicking myself if Duke got eliminated before then. But yeah, I'm scared, and does scared money make money? Well, in this case, it does.
1, 2, 3 things.
That's if you cash it out and take the 50 G's. First thing from me, so Penn State's doing their pro day today. Abdul Carter's not participating as I don't know if the foot got surgically repaired or if whatever foot ailment was bothering him, he's just resting on it. But Julian Fleming ran a 6.840 this morning, and there was video of him online catching passes from Drew Aller. And I'm disappointed that it didn't work for the former 5-star in Columbus. Hope the best for him as he tries to prove his skills in the NFL. It didn't work. It's not that it didn't work at Ohio State. He was never going to be wide receiver one. So much talent. And it was a shame that it didn't work when he went back home to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, for whatever reason, just never clicked for Julian Fleming. We forget sometimes number one recruit coming out of high school. That's
a huge get for Ohio State.
Impressive.
Yeah.
2 years in a row, Ohio State got the number one ESPN recruit in Julian Fleming and Jack Sawyer. Just a bummer for him. Hopefully, though, he can catch on with the team and somehow have some kind of a career in the league. We've talked a lot this year, Reese, about Alex Ovechkin and his pursuit of Wayne Gretzky's goal record, which he is 6 away from breaking. Sidney Crosby, though, did break a Wayne Gretzky record last night in their 7-3 loss to Buffalo. Crosby scored his 26th goal of the season, which was his 80th point, which guarantees a 20th season of Sid the Kid averaging a point per game. Gretzky did it in every one of his seasons except his last, so he didn't get to 20. Gretzky had 19 seasons of averaging a point a game every season. Sidney Crosby, though, hard to believe he's been around 20 years now to do that, but as much of a pain in the rear as he has been to Jackets fans over the year, one of the best to ever do it.
It's pretty nuts.
First thing from me, we had a big show out of one Ryan Baker. We learned that he is Barbara Walters. He is Dan Rather, all wrapped into one.
Now, that is a great question.
Save the drop, save the evidence. Ryan Baker, great show out of you today.
I'm more happy with saying that Alabama and BYU banged the over last night.
Dude, you did. I'm not kidding. I was thinking of you last night when I saw that score. I'm pretty sure Baker said on the radio, take the over.
That I did.
Second thing for me, it looks like Jeremy Pruitt was the scapegoat, and he's tired of hearing about it. He's filed a lawsuit against the NCAA seeking $100 million, claiming that the NCAA conspired with Tennessee to make him a sacrificial lamb. He got fired in 2021 for cause. He didn't receive any of his $12.6 million buyout after an internal investigation revealed what their chancellor said were serious violations of NCAA rules. He got a 6-year show cause penalty, including a year-long suspension from coaching in games and recruiting off campus in his first year back should he return to college. He's not been around since. $100 million. I mean, everybody's going at the NCAA, but it doesn't seem like this one's got the kind of legs he would like.
I believe this is his second lawsuit in all of this as well.
Well, he's suing
the university or the NCAA somehow through there. I'd have to go back and read that or remember what it was. Unfortunately, the Ohio State hockey season came to an end last night as they give up 5 unanswered goals and lose to Boston University 8-3, 24-14-2 on the year. Were the Buckeyes the 11th time they've made the NCAA tournament, just 2 games shy of that Frozen Four. A good season for the Buckeyes on the ice regardless.
Fellas, I've had a good time on Bishop and Friends. I've been a semi-member of this show since September. I'll see you guys a lot. Reeser will be working on Fan Sports Saturday. Baker, our desks are right next to each other.
This is true.
But this will be my last time on this show as I go to work behind the glass on Rothman and Ice starting Monday.
You entered the producer transfer portal, and you have committed to Rothman and Ice, who are up next from 12 to 3. No time for 3 things for everybody. But one thing from this entire show is to wish everybody a wonderful weekend. Dad's back on Monday. Bo returns from vacation. You'll hear from him then, Monday at 9 o'clock on Bishop and Friends on The Fan.
Common Man has spent the past 18 years telling you how much he hates people. And yes, that probably means you, too. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan.
As men get older, our bodies change. We all know that. And often, we just accept the changes as the way it is. But some of those changes, such as bad sleep patterns, low sex drive, brain fog, no energy, and reduced gains in the gym could be due to low testosterone. And that is something you can change. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And even if you're in your 30s, if you're experiencing some or all of the symptoms I just noted, you very well may need low testosterone treatment. With our treatment protocols, if you're like most men, you'll be amazed at the change. You'll have more energy, improved mental clarity, your sleep will be better, so will your workouts, and you'll likely find that your sex drive increases too. So give us a call today and make the change for good. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. That's tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you. Tri-State Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Discover uncompromising quality at a reliable price with Giant Eagle in Market District. Look for signs throughout the store highlighting lower prices. Surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle. Experience value like never before. Visit Giant Eagle today to see how easy it is to save.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Factory direct is really pretty simple. The factory sells it directly to the consumer. I mean, we build it. There's nothing that anybody else does. We have stations where everybody touches the window. Everyone sees what's going on. So if there's an issue, we catch it as it's going down the line. That's probably the biggest thing, is the ability to make sure what goes out the door is what I want to go out the door.
Visit Rosati Windows and get 35% off all windows and doors by March 31st.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter, and spring is here, and it's time to refresh your yard with Ohio Mulch. With 15 convenient locations in Central Ohio, it's easier than ever to get mulch ready for the season. Now through April 5th, get 5 bags of red, black, or brown mulch for just $10.95. Need it delivered? No problem. Save $50 on home delivery when you order online. Visit OhioMulch.com today and spruce up your yard with the best.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, greener, greener, better.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at MasheterFord.net. Thanks.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Menards is a leading supplier of quality roof and floor trusses. Choose from our huge selection of residential and post frame trusses or custom design trusses specifically for your project. View our entire selection of quality roof and floor truss options today on Menards.com. Plus, check out our weekly flyer and find all the great deals happening this week at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land.